It doesn't get much more serious than that. The chairman of the House Intel Committee doesn't have declassification authority over these types of documents. They are made available to Congress under very tightly controlled rules. This has been a source of tension for years. And members of both parties have gone out of their way to assure that this material would be closely held and not weaponized. Schiff was viewed as one of the most political chairs of that committee in its history. And this is a truly chilling account, if true. Now, when I first read it, frankly, I was taken aback because it's perfectly moronic to commit such a felony with a planning conference meeting with staff. That's not usually how things are leaked in Washington, D.C. What makes this different, Will, is that this was a statement made to FBI agents. The person who made this statement was no doubt aware that lying to FBI agents is not just a crime, but a crime that was repeatedly prosecuted during prior administrations, including the Obama and Biden administrations.
Right.
So making this statement puts you at risk. That's why someone's lying here and someone's a felon.
Okay, well, let's just for a moment.
I think we can leave it at that for now. I think we know who the liar and who the felons are out here, but in any event, how is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? It is indeed, has to check the clock and the calendar here, Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. And bringing to you guys, of course, Ghost and Friends on this fine Tuesday evening. Lots of craziness going on here. Before I bring the guys in just really quickly, I'll set the table for them a little while. We've heard about all this information on Shifty Schiff for quite some time, but looks like last evening at 11:28 p.m., President Trump is posting this out, which has the headline of, and it's very, very tasty, a senior Democrat. All right, so right off the bat, senior Democrat insider just gave FBI agents a sworn account that former House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff personally directed his staff to leak classified intelligence to damage Donald Trump during the Russiagate investigation. So I think that says it all right there. That is huge, and we knew Shifty Schiff was a leaker. Pencil neck, watermelon head, all the nicknames, you know, the liar, the leaker. Remember, he read the fake transcript of President Trump and Zelensky on the Senate floor, which was disgusting. So he's in my top 5 of people that, I most want to see go down. But before we get more into any other stories, let's bring on Mr. Ghost and the rest of the crew. It's been a couple of weeks, and I appreciate you guys bearing with me during my mighty move, but we're halfway there. I got most of the work done, and it should be smooth sailing from here on out. But Ghost, my man, how are you doing, brother? It's been a couple of weeks. Hopefully everything's on the up and up, but what's going on, my man?
Smooth sailing. You can't say that all the time by any stretch. I say yes. The usual stupidity abounds and is blossoming, and I still find it amazing that as someone at Schiff's height, they can stack shit that high and it sticks together.
Right. But, they had everybody against him. Absolutely everybody against him.
Yeah.
I mean, even the guardrails, right? Like the inspector generals were even in on it.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
he just
wild.
wanted to impeach at the drop of a hat. How many times?
Well, I know at least twice, right?
Yeah. Turnabout. Well, karma's a bitch. That's all I got to say.
Oh yeah, and it looks like it's coming. Not to the speed in which I wanted, and I'm sure most people wanted, but I think it had to be done in a specific way to kind of get the result, because it did take a while to wake a lot of people up, and there's still a lot of people are just dead in the water, and maybe there's no hope for them to ever wake up, unfortunately. But it's getting wild out there.
I'll say this real quick. In the next couple of months, 2 months, whoever's going to wake up will. Whoever isn't, well, good luck. Good luck.
Awesome. Well, let's just go right down in the order of guest appearances. So, Mr. Mike, sir, how's everything going, brother? I truly hope everything's going great with Renee, and we got a lot of people that are obviously praying and pulling for her, but hopefully everything's going good with you, brother. How's everything?
Yeah, everything's thank you very much. Everything's going good. for Renee. We're getting, we got some specialists and cardiac specialists, along with other specialists in Dallas, Texas. We're aiming for getting over there. They're going to be treating her. And so we're very grateful for that. We're just trying to get the GoFundMe to take care of for her to stay over there and get through all the procedures and everything that the specialists need her to do over there. They're going to line her up. They're helping her with a heart transplant list, getting her on that, and also helping with the portion of dealing with the insurance company as well. So it's actually really good. As for everything else, it's interesting times, and for work, got called into the hantavirus thing, and so as for now, it's I can just say I'm blessed. We're very grateful and very positive, and now it's thankful for everything. I can just say I'm blessed. We're very grateful and very positive, and now it's thankful for everything. I can
Am I
just
getting a
say
background noise?
I hear it too.
That seems to be
Yeah.
like a repeat of everything.
Somebody
Yeah.
have the stream open in a second tab.
I should be good on mine. Mine should be good. I think we
I
should
was
be good.
muted.
Check. Yeah, we should be good.
Check,
I don't know, whatever it was, it seems to be gone there. I'm telling you, maybe it was my haunted laptop. I'm telling you, this thing is great. MSI laptop's great, but this particular one I got is haunted. It might have been something on this. I don't know, but that's really good, Mike. I'm glad things are moving along. And yeah, the hantavirus. Oh no, be scared, everybody. Go get your shots. Go get your. Oh please, nobody's falling for that one. But
No.
But yeah, and we have, of course, we have Mr. Armando and Jeff Davis have joined us as well. And I had said yesterday, hey, is Jeff going to be joining us at a regular panel? I enjoyed Jeff having him on there. So, the door's always open. But we have Mr. Armando Gonzalez Jr. and Mr. Jeff Davis on the screen. But we'll start with Mr. Armando. How's it going today, brother? How's everything? Everything going on? And are we getting Cuba? Is it going to be the 51st state, or is it going to be Alberta, or is it going to be Venezuela now, or Greenland? What the hell is going on?
No, yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm vertical and above the grass. That's about it. That's all I got. Don't ask anything else. So I'll take that one. But it appears that Trump is hinting on the 51st state, Venezuela. He's hinted at it already 2 to 3 times. I'm assuming that there's going to be a move made on Cuba when he gets back from China. There's going to be reportedly right now. There's an another open discussion with the demons down in Havana, and to see what they want to do. If they want to go to Gitmo, if they want to get exfilled to Spain, or if they want to die. I hope it's the latter, just in my opinion. But anyway, we'll find out. We'll find out as soon as he gets back from China what the play is going to be. But right now, the most important thing is, like I've mentioned here before, the closer that we get to the 4th of July and the 250th, the creepier and the weirder things are going to get, as everybody can see. And here we go. C-19 2.0 again. Got some dirt on that. But some deep scientific dirt on that. I'll be streaming that on Thursday just to give everybody this is what you're really looking at. So,
nice.
Yeah, and everybody's missing a complete move as far as this concerned. But when we get into it, I'm sure the topic, you'll bring it up, so I'll just tie into it then.
Awesome. And Mr. Jeff Davis, and just so everybody knows too, I got Armando's links and Jeff's in the description box of, they're in Rumble now, but by the end of the show, they'll be in all 3 of them. But Mr. Jeff Davis, I very much enjoyed our first meeting. That's why I asked the gentleman, I was like, oh, is he going to be joining us, on the regular? Because, the more the merrier. But welcome in today, brother. How's everything with you?
Awesome. Yeah, everything's great. I'd definitely be thrilled to be a regular. I can't commit to weekly because the last Tuesday of every month is my tea party where I'm in local politics. I'm a member.
Awesome.
So I can't commit to every week, but I definitely would love to be more regular. I enjoyed showing up as well.
Yes, pop in when you can. Whenever you're ready on a Tuesday, hop in.
I had that new game that we talked about,
Yeah.
Pragmata, that I showed. I actually ended up getting gifted it by a follower, by a subscriber on Rumble. So I've been playing it, streamed it a couple of times. I actually rated here from a game stream of Pragmata on that stream. So I've been testing it, and it is so coded as like government psyop for family and children and all that. I'm like, dude, this is outrageous. Like this was created in a government lab. Get out of here.
Like most things, right?
Right.
That's awesome.
Is that the game that was created by the wealthy family?
It's Capcom, and
Oh, okay.
so it's a Capcom game, and it's it's with the little android girl, and you basically adopt her. So I won't get too far into the weeds on
Right.
it, but it's very clearly like bringing out the like paternal instinct to care for like a small child.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Yeah, it's very, very. I almost look like, I think it's like Half-Life had a similar thing that they did years ago. It was like a robot with a little girl or something like that. But this is more like with the feels for sure.
Right.
Well, before we get on to too much, and I say this, in a very loving manner, before we get on to too much more serious stuff, and I believe what I'm about to show you is serious, but it's also, some people will look at it and say it's like in the woo or a little weird or whatever, but I don't know, guys. What are you thinking of this? President Trump posting this over on his True Social. And if you notice, it says Federal Victory Note, Trump Federal Reserve Note. This note is not legal tender for any debts, public or private. The United States, God bless Donald Trump. And so I don't know if he's trolling them or what he's doing, but
He's trolling.
Sort of, yes and no. The new, let's say, U.S. banknotes have been being produced. I think they inserted his image where the image would be of Franklin on the 100.
It's crazy. I got a $2 bill, which is supposed to be legal, and accurate or whatever, but it's got President Trump's on the front of it, I believe. So it's like, yeah. And then some people went
spending it handcuffs.
Yeah, some people went, as far as to do like, decodes on it and say, because remember all these things are debt instruments, right? Like this whole system that we're run on, I've been saying for years, like, is he trying to blow up the original system? Because that's kind of what needs to happen, right? But they obviously need to morph us into something else that's more lucrative for everybody, I guess we could say, rather than just the bankers, right? Because it's been a shit show from the beginning, from year one when we had to borrow the money for our government, and then year two we needed to borrow money, but then we needed to borrow more money for the interest, and then it's like we're at the very ass end of one of these 401ks where the ramp that's going up is straight up. And so that's like the debt that we're paying on our country right now is, what is it, like $1 trillion or something like that in just the interest. So it was never meant to, in my opinion, be anything for the people, but more about for the bankers. So I don't know if any of you guys have any thoughts on this one before we move along, but I feel like
that's what the whole system has been. The founding fathers, many, even Napoleon and many others in history, were, especially many of the founders and the thinkers of that time, were always warning against central banks all the way into the middle of the 19th century, until they paved the way for it to happen with the 14th Amendment, and the rest rolls out to 1913. But until then, it was basically commerce and interstate taxes and trade taxes. And it took care of everything. Theoretically, today, the numbers have worked since 50 years ago. A 10% commerce tax on anything bought or sold by any corporation or individual would more than pay for everything. But the whole thing behind the central bank was to control, make money a debt instrument, number one, instead of an asset. It's representing, say, a tiny piece of gold or silver or what have you. That is also another, let's say, area, a basis to start with. No, the central banks came on board in all of these countries because it was the way that they figured out from 1500s on, late 1500s on, how to dethrone monarchy and control societies that way. And when you make everyone dependent upon the dollar, you can control its value. At usury, you can control the value. You can create inflation or deflation anytime you want. That would normally be a regional or local or simple thing based on supply and demand. A dollar would be worth $1 100 years from now, as opposed to being less than a penny compared to when they were first issued from the Federal Reserve. Every day, the country borrows the money. Every day, the country borrows the money it needs to at interest to these privately owned institutions. Privately meaning sovereign. Most of the groups and individuals that own them are sovereign equity funds or sovereign individuals. You don't have access to what they do. So these have run quietly in the background with throughout many countries, very subversive names such as Federal Reserve Bank. Well, it's not federal, it has no reserves, and it's not a bank.
Mm-hmm.
It's a loan shark. And the IRS is global. Here we call it the IRS in the United States. That's the collection arm. It's that simple. It's how it works. It's why we're in the fix we're in today, and all of the complexities that go along with it.
Yeah, the money really hurt. And I'll just add this, and if anybody else wants to make a comment, I'm not going to play the video. I played it yesterday, and a lot of people just kept sharing this video out yesterday, and it really bugged me. So I had to fix the lips. It was way off, like by 2 or 3 seconds. But yesterday, he basically said, just like you were talking about, Ghost, that, we were doing so good up, in the late 1800s. We had so much money, we didn't know what to do with it. Oh, and then, then 1913 came around, and then, we just had the Depression. So again, I added this and I fixed the lips, but I added here where Javier Becerra had the number 2 at the IRS twice agree with him where he says, we got to do a better job in a system of taxes that is voluntary. And he's like, agreed. So I think, with what Besant said a few weeks ago about your withholdings, I think they might be getting rid of it. And again, I'm not, any economist or anything like that, but they may be getting rid of the income tax totally. But of course, it's going to come down to the tariffs that they are appealing at this time. So I don't know if anybody has anything you want to add to that.
They'll readjust in time as the economy again finds its legs. That's why the transition is being done somewhat, not overtly, but covertly and over time. Essentially, it's already begun. And things like these recent, let's say the snatching of Maduro, Iran, Ukraine is included in that, even though we didn't do that, and upcoming probably Cuba and a number of other places that will do it, I think, more voluntarily. They won't want the complete disruption. But that's all part of it. And then also going after the cartels that do insert a tremendous amount of money, or let's just say move tremendous amount of money in the economy worldwide. You're talking trillions there. So a lot of this is long overdue. Those who spoke about it in the past were either ruined, killed, or relegated to obscurity. But it is how it works, and it's finally dawning on people. I mean, if you're born into something and you accept everything for what it is, and everyone around you does, you assume that's normal. I can remember 15 years ago, my father saying something about the Federal Reserve, and I made the comment that would be that would apply if it happened to be federal or had reserves or was a bank. What are you talking about? I said, it's not part of the federal government. It's only through contract and appearance. No, yes. And finally, this is dawning on people after so many people writing about it, speaking about it over many, many years. It's finally, and obviously he understands this, and those in the administration would. A lot of them might not understand the depth and complexity of it, but it can all be undone very easily. And banks will take a lesser position in the world. And depending on what rolls out in the future, you roll out the proper blockchain with oversight, you won't even need many banks for that reason. You need simply commercial loaning institutions. Everything going back to the way the math and humanity work would do a hell of a lot of good. And the central banks have been at the top of that pyramid. They've been the source of all good and bad that's happened for the last 150 years, easily. In Europe, longer than that, most countries. And no one made a big deal. I'll leave it with this. No one made a big deal about it in 17, I think it was, when Putin made that speech about how he's removed the European central banking system from his country. And basically, they better not try to make a resurgence or it's going to be very painful for them. And that's exactly what we should have done a long time ago. But everyone in office, everyone that was going to be president for the last 120 years were picked. You didn't have a choice. It didn't matter which one got into office. They were both equally controlled and compliant with what was going on. This man isn't. Hence why there's been such ridiculous and rabid nonsense in trying to denigrate and tear him down every day. All of the crap in the mainstream media. Who owns the mainstream media? Do the homework, do the math. It's very simple. It's not rocket science at this point. So hopefully we're moving into that era. That would be a golden era.
Yeah, it should be, right? And if everybody was working together and not, I often talk about how much, black budgets and then all the money the NGOs and these billionaires are putting up against him. Just imagine if they, worked together with humanity, everybody could have all of their wants and needs, desires, everything fulfilled, right? But people have to have the haves and the have-nots is how some of these people look at things, right? That we are beneath them. We're no more than ants essentially in an ant farm to them.
All the
workers.
Billionaires I've met, the only difference between most people and them is the amount of money in their bank. Believe me.
This is very interesting.
They
don't have a humanitarian soul.
They're not and none of them, all of them are the brightest bulbs in the box either. It depends how they came about their funds. But it's all much more of a human problem and understandable if you know the framework and how it was instituted and what it can do and what it has done. When the central banking system is finished, this world will start to, maybe a little bit confused at first, but it'll find its way into a much better future. Zero doubt about that.
Yeah, I have a historical comparison on that if you want to hear something.
Absolutely.
So the Federal Reserve, just since we're on this subject, it was established December 23rd, 1913, under Woodrow Wilson. Now, if you look, I believe Trump is a counter to the, Federal Reserve system and all of the people that are basically behind all of that, or at least benefiting from it heavily. And so in the same token, if you go all the way back to when it was first started, I believe the counter was Henry Ford. So Henry Ford, literally a month later, instituted the 8-hour working week within his company and set a $5 minimum wage, dragging up everyone's standard of living to where they're not dying in the factory and they can afford a car for a regular family that works. And I just thought that was very interesting.
Oh, he was definitely an opponent of it.
Right. Like
and he made a comment to that effect. He said something to the effect that basically if the American people knew how the monetary system was now being run, there'd be a revolution by morning.
Right. So I just thought that was very interesting because people say, oh, the billionaires, the billionaires. I put out a short yesterday, even because AOC was saying the American Revolution was fought, to stop the billionaires of the time, but the richest man
That's just
in
class
America.
politics.
Yeah, it's just stupid. But it's the richest man in America, like, went bankrupt funding the war. And basically all the founding fathers were the billionaire class of America, and they fought the war to make us free. So it's all just
Mo-
stupid. But
Most billionaires would agree with what we're saying.
yeah,
They know. You can't fault someone for inventing, say, something you strap to your head and have a different digital experience, for inventing that and making billions off of it, or anyone else who's invented something that is useful and positive and made billions. So all of this class envy nonsense has to go too. People have to see everything for what it is and not what this same old tired emotion that is ginned up for millennia. This has been the case, and we're finally at a place where people can get a good glimpse if they really want it, and stop their stupid thinking. Oh, billionaires are all. No, they're not, by no stretch of the imagination. Are there a few of them? Just like every other group, there's total perverts and assholes and everything else in the billionaire crowd. Um, uh, you know, luck of the draw happens to most of them, and for them to equate that with some type of egoistic special thing about them, you're very special. I would say in a heartbeat, you're very special, just like everyone else.
Yep.
You just came up with a good idea. God bless you for that.
Or most of these people were born into, like you said, luck of the draw, born into the family there. But I think Mike had sent this. We got Wheels Up, and POTUS is heading over to China. But I got one more thing to touch on with the monetary stuff here really quickly. Apparently, they're saying breaking news, Senate Tuesday confirmed Kevin Warsh to a 14-year term as Federal Reserve Governor, marking an important step towards his succeeding Jerome Powell as the U.S. bank's next leader. So I don't know, much about this guy, but I know he's not going to be Jerome Too Late Powell, who's definitely fighting Trump the whole damn way. I mean, again, from every angle, he was getting it. So
it could easily be done by rolling tanks around it and saying you're out of business. But that would upset too many people. They wouldn't understand. Again, you can't do things that people don't understand to the point to where they'll panic. Or either that or you just don't let them know about it until it's done.
True.
Because you can't turn an economy either national or hemispheric or globally end on end. It has a cascading effect the way things are now. But if you had countries all countries are operating under UCC, which is the international law of bankruptcy. When you have to borrow to meet your needs for every day, you're technically bankrupt. Well, this gets even more involved in how you have everything in name that you had in 1849. The names mostly remain the same. The jurisdictions, the functions, completely changed, not through an evolutionary process, but through a process of control. You already have a globalist governance, except it was never overt and could throw force directly in your face. That's the central banking system. They could easily get governments to do whatever they wanted through the purse strings, in which case you'd eventually have a gun in your face, unlike calling the police or the military or something like that. But this is what they've depended on the whole time: ignorance and people's acceptance of all of these systems for what they are and what they were born into, not what they were intended to be and not how it was meant to work. And that math was too good to be true, because it is true. It's 1 in 10. And we know 1 in 10 is even a biblical concept. And God forbids usury, but we do it every day, all over. in every way possible. So these changes are coming.
Oh yes. I had one that I dropped for you guys earlier that I just can't freaking particularly find as we speak right now. But it was. Actually, I will pull it up in a second. But apparently, what's his name there? Yeah, I got it. Saudi Arabia, they were saying now, is actually going out and hitting Iran. And it's weird because they've never apparently done this, from what they're saying, essentially. They were doing this covertly, as apparently this guy Mario, anyways, is saying that while they were, I'll just read it. Saudi secretly struck Iran directly. It's the first time the kingdom has ever done this, and it changes everything about how Gulf states see their own security. For decades, Riyadh outsourced its deterrence to Washington. That era may be over. When a country starts hitting back on your territory, the balance of power in a region resets. So that's why when I sent, this to the group chat here, that's why I put good, clean up your own backyard. Like, that's what I believe is these people, and I think President Trump has said as much, that we don't need to be the policemen around the world, right? Like, this is your area. Take care of your own area, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, this is big.
Help out a little. It affects them more than it ever would us. In the end, ultimately, their livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drop some laser-guided pork fat bombs over them.
And here's a funny one too, guys. One of my co-hosts, I believe Mac, a few weeks ago, dropped this on Telegram. So what I did is a few minutes ago, literally as the show was going on, I just uploaded this. It's a 17-second clip here. But what he says here, I was just like, listen, we were told by a certain letter of the alphabet essentially this 7 or 8 years ago. What he's saying right here in the most flamboyant of voices. Oh, no, Mike just did it. This is what I do so I don't have noises coming on there. Here we go. Oh, God, Mike. Act like you've done this before. Here we go. Here we go. Frenchie, starting over with the most flamboyant voice you've ever heard.
First, we should not underestimate that this is a unique moment where a US president, a Russian president, a Chinese president are dead against the Europeans. So this is the right moment for us.
So he's saying that, wait, the Russians, the Chinese, and the Americans are working against Europe? That's,
Yes, the banking.
Yes.
Right.
The banking. And that's the one thing the three of us share in common, that the Chinese have suffered probably as much or more than the Russians under. You wouldn't have had a Russian Revolution without the central bankers. You wouldn't have had the Maoist Revolution without the central banking. You wouldn't have had World War I or World War II either. And you wouldn't have had all of these so-called conflicts since then. And all of this division has been engineered very artfully at very high places. They do exist. People will learn about them in the coming months and years. The information's out there. You just have to go find it. Le Circle, Pilgrim Society, Atlantic Council, and then the bankster created ones, such as the Council of 300, the Council of Rome, on and on and on. All of these are interfacing points to connections to their own think tanks, and they can easily plan. How do people, the math against all of these things being on The Simpsons and then happening today, sort of like hantavirus now, is off the charts, impossible. But they're in their esoteric beliefs, they believe that no matter how they tell you, whether it's padding fiction or encoding in their own, say, overt communications, where you'll never, unless you know it exists, you won't even look for it, to alert all of those around the world as to actions upcoming, etc. All of this is very real. It's been right under your nose the whole time. And their feeling is very simple, simply, we told you, you weren't smart enough to figure it out. So they want to put the onus on humanity. When I call that not alleviating their karmic debt in a sense, but it's just deferment. Because when it comes back, it's going to come back in a very bad way. War is what they've based their model on. When we knew back in 1970 that space exploration, not war, but exploration, could have been the largest economic engine the human race ever knew. But who ultimately owns the intelligence agencies and USAPs in every department of virtually every Western government? The central banking system owns it. When it's explained to you one day, myself and Lord G have explained it many times and broke it down many times. I think the subject gets to be too cumbersome. Unless you've lived with it and worked with it, it gets to be too cumbersome to try to absorb and then integrate that into your everyday thinking. Literally, some would blow their brains out over it if they knew the complexity and totality of it and how effective it has been. And always using, whether it's the groups, individuals, or humanity as a whole, their best intentions against them. And there's a lot of, let's say, basic tenets that are followed. This is how you got, I mean, false flags are nothing new. They've been around for thousands of years. We've just perfected it to a science. Where do you think this funding really comes from? Or the overlooking of the diversion and the washing of funds for special access programs that really are not that nice. So many things that we and other governments do. But people say government as if it's something understandable or tangible. If you knew what they were on paper, there'd be a revolution by morning.
Absolutely. Now, what about the prices of oil and gas due to the conflicts, or the Middle East? And what does everybody think of Middle East? Well, you think of oil and you think of people having wars left and right? And so I believe, and I'm sure everybody else can kind of agree with this fact, that they manufacture most of these, if not all of them. And is that what's keeping, the price of oil and gas as expensive as it is now, versus if we had a peaceful world? That's why I was telling people, like, oh, we're going to have trouble, the Republicans in the next election. I was like, well, what if gasoline was 50 cents a gallon or $1 a gallon, and all of a sudden there's no more taxes or no more IRS? Now, I'm not saying 100% that's what's going to happen, but if that's where we're going, I think it would be very hard to vote against that. But any thoughts on that, the price of the boogeyman, or the eternal boogeyman always being there and always having these wars that, in my opinion, probably floats the price up?
All you got to do is watch Landman.
That the one with Billy Bob Thornton there?
Yeah. All you got to do is watch Landman, and here's why. Okay? Big oil controls everything.
Yes, it does.
You never let a good crisis go to waste, number one. The barrel, doesn't matter what price it is. No, we're going to raise taxes here because of transportation, lack of fuel, whatever you want to throw at it. They're taking advantage, and they're gouging, in my opinion, they're gouging everybody to kingdom come with the price of fuel, because people
they are.
need it.
We're exporting it.
Well, there you go. There's the other.
We're exporting it now. How would, that's what people need to ask the question. How could we be now again a net exporter of oil, and we're paying higher prices because of what's happening over there? That is absolute, pure, allowed, legal price gouging.
Yep.
Because that gas that's in that tank at that gas station that I'm pumping was bought and paid for and pulled out of the ground 6 months ago.
Right.
Or longer. And it's been being refined and pumped through the system all this time. That gas didn't cost that much to produce, and we're only $15 a barrel right now more than when he took office the second time.
And when
So common sense. And people say, well, that's a commodity. That you got to understand. No, I understand how commodities work. And that's how you rate people, by falling back on the laws that enable commodities trading as they stand now. So this is all a big, you're being ripped off and taken advantage of. The population is being ripped off and taken advantage of more than you'll ever know. Hopefully you will know soon enough.
Big oil will tell you themselves too. Their sweet spot where they're still banking big bucks is $65 a barrel. Where is it at now? 100, maybe?
Yeah, 101. Some
101.
really right there.
$101. They're doubling their profits, literally. And it's not just gas, it's LNG, okay, and it's everything else.
Anything that can be pipelined in a wire, a pipe, a tank, what have you, that can be metered or measured, it behooves them to keep you on, because then it's controllable, you're controllable, and profits keep going as usual. We haven't needed oil the way we are using it now. We could have gone off that system in the late 60s, started transitioning then. But no, that doesn't maintain, that doesn't allow those who own the sovereign equity groups and the public hedge fund, sovereign owned, but public funds that own these corporations.
And if you want to look
They
at
own them, they own that. Oil is just another lever of control over humanity. Simple as that. Oil and energy of any kind. We know we can pull energy from the aether. We know we have ways to do it. We know we can affect a lot of things that we didn't understand many years ago that would change everything immensely for the better.
and if
But
you
that
want to
doesn't maintain power.
look at things from another lens too, okay? If you keep prices of fuel right now where they're currently at, okay, don't assume that big oil, and I'm painting it here with a broad brush, okay, don't think that big oil has the current president's best interest at heart either, okay?
Not at all.
You're close to a midterm. You're close to a lot of things right now. So what does that do amongst the commoner? Okay, no disrespect, I'm included in the commoner class, right? Well, look at, I'm paying so much out of pocket for fuel right now. It's actually more expensive now than it was when Biden was in. So, screw Trump. I'm not voting for him. Blah. You see what that creates? Again, it's a negative for the midterms. And they're controlling that.
And have you noticed, because we do a lot of driving to medical appointments, opposed to last year and this year, when we put fuel in the vehicles, the mileage is, we don't get the same mileage that we got last year that we're getting now. We're actually getting less mileage to the fuel than what we were getting before. And here in Los Angeles, in Los Angeles County, a lot of people just, commoners, people like us, just regular people. I've actually seen a couple people at the gas station with those test kits to see if the gasoline, what's the ratio of the gasoline and the volume in there. And
Versus ethanol.
Yeah, and that caught my eye, and so it makes me question to, when you see a gas station that has a cheaper price, or if you go to Shell or 76 or AM PM gas, it's fairly cheap. It's actually cheaper. It's today we filled up. It was $5.99, and that's the cheapest gas here in town. And if you go over to Chevron, Shell, or 76, between $6.55 and $6.98. but I've seen, or Renee and I have seen people with those little test kits, checking what they're putting into their tank. And it actually makes sense because we're not getting the accurate mileage for the car for the gas that, it's the gas that we're putting in.
Then you throw another component in there, and I'm going to catch hate for this one, but I don't care. Who are the majority owners of your local gas stations? Huh?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Arabs.
And you know them. They're going to stick it to you any way they can. They'll double and triple charge you for a Twinkie. What do you think they're going to do with fuel? Same thing. They don't care. Not their fault.
Over in your state, Armando, around it, I'm not going to say what city. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but
No.
there was a chain of gas stations owned by this one group of people. That was a family, I understand, and they were adding a water-based chemical to water down their gas as much as 20%.
Yep.
You're talking water. Water and gas don't mix. But I don't know how this substance worked, but they were doing it, and people were having trouble. Depending on how much octane your car needed, whether it was 97 or 83, people were breaking down over it, and it was traced back to that.
Yep. But don't worry. Don't worry. My brother has a repair facility next door, okay? You need to clean your fuel injection, okay? Cheap today, only $249.95. Yeah.
It's true.
Oh, yeah, the fraud here, man, is just insane. And, unfortunately, my wife drives a good old Krautmobile, that only likes 93 octane. If you put middle grade, you can get away with it, but you got to dump a can of one of those Lucas Oil octane booster things in there for $5, which are now $8, by the way. You can get away from that. Oil runs everything, folks. Oil runs everything, and it just increases the price of all goods across the board. I don't care what it is. And they're taking advantage of that. So these people, big oil, big pharma, big food, all these people, they're raking in massive profits for no reason at all, because there's no reason why these gas prices should be the way that they are. No reason at all.
They're as harmful as drug cartels, is my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I remember growing up, being a young kid, I was like, just to Armando's point, it's like, well, there's a Middle Eastern guy, he bought a gas station. I literally, as a little kid, I was like, I think they're buying them all up and they're going to blow them all up at once. Thinking now, clearly it wouldn't, cause a chain reaction, but, that's what I was thinking, a racist young white boy. But, you got UAE got, a bunch of missiles and stuff lobbed at them, and they left OPEC, and, other places are like Algeria saying, oh, it's no big deal or whatever. But I feel like it is a bigger deal than they're letting on. And again, within 2 hours of us hitting Iran this time, I had to go to the gas station, and they had already jacked the prices up. And we know they bought that gas and oil months before that. You know what I mean? So, and President Trump doesn't set the gas prices, so they can play their little stupid games. But again, it's all about, the political pressure, and it's always bullshit against him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So let's see. I mean, I got all sorts of stuff we could talk about. I don't know if you guys had anything in particular that you guys wanted to key in on today. Did you say you want to talk about
China?
Yeah.
When he took off, did they run anybody over?
I don't think so. With any fake
I saw
planes.
the video of that. Crazy. But out in California, I just saw that this young lady mayor of Arcadia was arrested for being a spy for China. What's going on with that, Mike?
Yeah, so she's been charged. She was so I looked into the investigation, and she's charged on multiple accounts on the Foreign Espionage Act. She was actively colluding with the People's Republic of China, the Ministry of Security, their intelligence over there, also the Chinese government itself, for benefit and gain of financial money, also political gain for elections. Essentially she was getting approval through the PRC to do different ads, campaigns for the Chinese population in Arcadia through different commercials in China and through different social media platforms aiming towards the people in China as well. And there's an interesting thing that ties to the UK in here is that China, the Chinese government is actively hiring former American military, law enforcement, people in that echelon to work for the Chinese International Law Enforcement Agency to go after defectors or people that are saying anything negative against China itself. And so she also was brought up on a charge that was in conspiracy towards working with the PRC. I sent a video to Armando with UK's MI5. They did a secret investigation where they had set up the PRC, and there was a UK, I believe it was a UK Royal Marine and a former UK police officer that the PRC had, the Chinese government hired to act as, or to work with them as a agent to bring back these people back to China as political dissidents and bring them in custody for China to put them in trial or put them in political prison, or just any other type of prison. But yeah, she was charged on quite a few different things, and but the main charge was the Foreign Espionage Act, working with China.
Yeah, Spaceshot. I just dropped what Mike's talking about in our chat.
Which one was it? The Facebook one or the? Okay.
No, in our group chat
I
here.
dropped
It's
one in.
about the
last one.
MI5, the MI5 sting. Yeah.
Okay, let me see. I don't know if I can pull it up because I don't have Facebook. Let me see if it'll pull it up.
Sorry.
Well, I do, but I just don't ever use it. I've never logged into it on this computer. Nor do I want to start now, but let me see here. Let me block the screen just in case it happens to do something stupid and be like, oh, hey, Mike, here you go. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I don't want to do that. All right, actually, we can still listen to it, looks like. Here we go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Let's see. So what is this?
Wanted woman out of a West Yorkshire flat.
Ma'am.
But while their outfits might look the part, prosecutors said this was a shadow or unofficial police operation directed by two men now convicted of working for China.
Ma'am. Hello, can you please open the door?
For days they watched and targeted a woman called Monica Kwong. She'd fled from Hong Kong to Pontefract, accused of a multi-million-pound fraud which she denies.
Do you really want us to keep knocking on this door all night?
They tried to coax her out, even using a fake delivery driver, with no authority under UK law. They slid a camera under her door to try to see inside.
Wow.
And eventually poured in water in what prosecutors said was a plan to capture her. Jurors couldn't decide whether this amounted to foreign interference. But while the spies were watching Monica, they didn't realise they were being followed themselves by MI5. Police swarmed in and arrested them. The group's ringleader, retired Hong Kong Police Superintendent Bill Wen.
Oh my God.
Prosecutors said the 65-year-old ran the spy operation from his office, working for the Hong Kong government in London. He recruited 38-year-old ex-Met police officer Peter Wai and Matthew Trickett, a former Royal Marine, who used their jobs in borders and immigration to research their targets on Home Office databases. 37-year-old Trickett took his own life before the trial began. But Wen and Wai, who has paid up to £2,000 per month, are the first people to be found guilty of spying for China under the new National Security Act.
Wow.
Among their many targets, China skeptic MPs like Ian Duncan Smith. But their main focus was Hong Kong exiles living in the UK.
That is crazy. And we've heard about that stuff going on here too, right? Like they've had, in say New York City, they have like little Asian or Chinese police stations.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In Orlando, Florida, and many other
we've
places.
shut down a couple here in Los Angeles too.
Jesus. Now, what can you charge? You know, you can charge these guys with being like a foreign agent or something like that, or?
Yeah, a foreign active agent, operating without there's a bracket for it. It's basically you have to be sanctioned and being able to operate. So you have to let the host nation know that you're in the area operating, and you have to get approval. And so, but these people aren't doing that. They're just going out there and essentially just kidnapping people. That's bare bones coming down to it, is just kidnapping them.
That's crazy. And so this woman, you know, she was obviously she was taking part of some of that, at least, or it seems, right? That's crazy. That is wild that we can have people in our country. And Ghost, this is what you were talking about.
It's worse than this.
Oh wait, was this what you were talking about a little while ago when you said, did anybody get sucked up by the engine? Chilling mugshots, grim criminal past of man mutilated by jet engine emerge after twisted suicide mission. What the hell?
Yeah,
Wow.
where was that again? He hopped the perimeter fence and then just walked out on the runway. That's
Denver. God.
Yeah.
Wonder if Satanic Airport.
We used to have accidents like that on board the carrier back in my day.
Damn.
People would walk in
I
front
can
of
understand on a carrier.
Yeah, they would accidentally walk too close to an A7 Corsair, the one with that huge intake on the very front, and they would just get sucked in.
That's oof.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'd be dead before you felt anything. I couldn't even imagine
I think
something
so.
like that. I couldn't even imagine something along those lines, guys. That is just bananas. But it's
toss yourself into a wood chipper. Same thing.
Hopefully, it's industrial strength. That's for sure. All right. So where else are we going here? I saw you. It may have been Mike, may have been Armando dropped this one, and I'm like, wait, is this another one, or is this the same? Hopefully, it's not the same guy. And I don't know what's worse, if it is the same guy or if it's because didn't this happen recently? All right, so I'm just going to read. It's Alex Jones saying, Benjamin Netanyahu's former personal security guard has been caught in an undercover sting operation, sending sexually explicit messages to an undercover detective posing as a teenage boy. Quote, you were involved in security for the Israeli leader Netanyahu. Quote, you had multiple chances not to commit this crime, but you did anyway. I feel like, have I seen this before? Or do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, did something like this happen recently?
It's new to me. It's first time. Yeah, first time.
Who the hell? I'm trying to think if
there was someone close to. It's just being reported now. There was someone. I think O'Keefe caught him in one of his honeypot stings. A guy that worked somewhere close to the president of the White House, and he's sitting there talking smack about him. That just, I think, broke earlier today.
Oh, let's see. You mean this one? Right? I got so many notes here. I don't even know where to start. Ding, ding, ding. Shooter. No. End vaccines in Florida. Shift leaker. We already did that. Marty McCary resigns. If you guys saw that one. Which one am I going after here again? I'm going after. I got so many.
Look, what is it? Is it still called
Veritas?
Project Veritas?
Yep. James O'Keefe. Yeah, let me pull this one up here. But yeah, and this is not good, guys, because you got people inside his White House that are basically still having resistance out there. And I'm gonna show you guys something that's crazy. So this one right here, this This guy that's got the accent, Benjamin Elliston. Yeah, and there's another one here where he's basically saying, we've got to get rid of Trump, essentially. And it's like, wait, he's what? A staffer? So 2 high-level White House insiders caught on undercover video bragging about internal subversion against President Trump, one placed on leave. So here it is right here.
We have to get rid of Trump. Seriously. He's a mess. He's fucking it up for everybody. Everybody. We gotta get rid of him. Honestly.
Benjamin Ellis
Oh, no. No, he took him over there at Project
claims that Trump is a dangerous.
Oh, my goodness. So this is weird, right? Like, and did you hear what he said? He's fucking it up for everybody. Yeah, the same old game that you guys all played, the Potomac two-step. He's messing that up.
He sounds Jamaican, doesn't he?
He had a little accent, man. We got to get rid of Trump, He's a real problem.
Interesting. Because Kerry Lake just got appointed to be Jamaica's ambassador.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy.
Yep.
Did you guys see this? And not this one. I uploaded this one yesterday. No, not this one. Where was it? Oh, peaceful transition of military power. Where am I here? Trump, not on this one. I'm losing my mind here. I might have to go into the archives here. I know I posted it like literally yesterday or the day before, so it can't be that far down. They basically did a little bit of what do you call it? I don't know what you want to call it, but they basically made it so the Biden administration had to go to court to fight to start removing people from the holdovers from Trump's administration. And Spicer was one of those people, right? And so they had to go to court, and the Biden administration fought it that, yes, you can fire these people. And guess what? Now he's using that essentially to get rid of all the executives. Now, apparently, this is a boat somebody told me I wasn't going 80 miles an hour in, by the way. And I don't know what I did with it, but essentially the Spicer video, he says, listen, you look up Spicer v. Biden, and they basically made it so they are allowed to get rid of these executives because Biden fought for it in his administration. Talk about 5D chess, guys. That's bananas. And actually, I might have it for you right here. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Bing. Geez, hopefully it's as good, but check this out, guys.
Now President Trump's firing everyone because Biden set this precedent that we could fire him, and we got them to codify it in law. September 20th of Biden's first few months in office, I get an email. It says, Dear Mr. Spicer, I had President Biden's personnel office. Thank you for your service. By 5 o'clock today, either submit your resignation or we'll fire you. America First Legal says, we want to sue the Biden administration. We need plaintiffs. Will you be a plaintiff? They were like, we want to lose. We want the Biden administration to go to court and argue that they have the right to fire anyone. So we lost. And then we appealed that, and we lost at the appeals section. Okay. So Trump wins, and I start emailing everyone. Remember, Spicer v. Biden, Spicer v. Biden. I get a call from the Washington Post. Reporter calls me and says, I was wondering if you would like to comment on the Kennedy Center board getting fired. And I'm like, I get that I was on Dancing with the Stars, but I'm really not like a ballet guy. And he goes, you don't get this. We're not calling you because you're like a good dancer or you have any musical taste. It's like, we're calling you because they issued a statement. And the statement says, based on the precedent of Spicer v. Biden, we have no recourse. Brilliant.
What do you think of that?
Incredible.
Right?
Incredible.
And that's 2021, right? So think about we're just finding out about this recently, but these are certain things that are going on behind the scenes that nobody hears about until years later, and then it's like, holy crap, that was just like it's on the screen there. Brilliant, right? I mean, we want to fight this, air quotes. We're going to fight this case here. Hey, wink, wink. And so that's awesome. I'm just loving to see certain things like that finally get exposed. But let's see what else we got. This as well is Andrei Yermak is getting charged apparently. So, you know, our good buddy President Trump here back in December of 25 says this.
I think so. It's been a long time. It's hasn't been doing particularly well. Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's an important time to hold an election. You know, they're using war not to hold an election, but I would think the Ukrainian people would, you know, should have that choice, and maybe Zelensky would win. I don't know who would win, but they haven't had an election in a long time. You know, they talk about a democracy, but it gets to a point where it's not a democracy anymore.
And so it's saying just in, and this was from yesterday, Volodymyr Zelensky's second in command just got charged as a suspect in a corruption scandal, accused of being involved in a $100 million scheme, -FT. Andrei Yermak is cooked. What did Zelensky know, and when did he know it? Ukraine is corrupt and refuses to hold elections, and he's using the war to stay in power. They need a hard reset. So I've been hearing this Andrei Yermak guy's name for years. But what do you think is going to happen over there? Apparently we're past the 10th of May, and they're still in conflict. I don't know. Anybody have any comments on the Ukraine and Russia deal? Because it's been rather uneventful as from my perspective, especially having my head not in the clouds, but more towards my toes. Kind of just working here. But anybody have anything on Ukraine and Russia? Because it's really been a little bleak or bland as far as info.
I think that it's.
Go ahead.
Okay, Jeff.
I think that the greater, like, kind of normie public that's not overly political is just going to start to understand that Ukraine is a shit show. It's very corrupt. Obviously, there was the coup back in like 2014 with the Obama CIA and all those guys that installed that government. And so the fact that we had this, you know, put Ukraine flag in your bio and shill for Zelensky, the war leader, and they had him like working out and all the propaganda pictures. But now every time you see a picture of him, it's like him next to this guy. He's half the size of him. He looks like a little midget. He played the piano with his, I don't know where you're streaming this. And so like he's just such a phony. And whether you like him or not, like a lot of the policy, a lot of the culture, a lot of the morality coming out of like Putin's Russia, he is a mob boss. He is ultimately like the pecan gangster leader of Russia. But like I'd take him a million times over Zelensky. And like their fight against the biolabs that are right next door. We broke 1 million treaties with what's going on with NATO and Ukraine and moving closer and closer to Russia. So it's like at some point we just don't care about Ukraine anymore. And then you see him as a rogue dictator who won't be dethroned.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to stay in power forever there. Mike, did you want to add something to that, buddy?
Yeah, Jeff is exactly right, and the $100 million scheme there, that's just a fraction of all the financial corruption that's going on. It's
what they found in the couch.
All the money that we've sent them and sent to the NGOs have gone directly into their pockets. I mean, there's evidence of this. There's video surveillance of this, taped recordings, they taking them, there's CIA, case officers taking them out to dinners, and these people just openly admit it, taking the money, and there's just nothing being done about it. And the only and like Jeff was saying, the only person who's really doing something about this is Putin. And that's, you kind of got to hand it to him. And but yeah, as far as the financial all the financial money that's coming from our taxpayer dollars going to Ukraine, it's going into their back pockets. It's going into bad guys operations and funding their own little get-togethers or whatever they have going on, and they're not nice things. And it's it's a daily thing. It's active, and hopefully, it'll get shut down sooner or later, willingly. But at least one person in the world is actively trying. So got to give kudos to him for trying.
Yeah, it's bad.
I think we should see the real Zelensky.
We got it
The
coming.
dancing Zorba.
Here
And
we
he's
go.
an actor too. He's an actor,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
look
turned
at
off
him.
this. I turned off the stupid music. Ding, 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 ding.
You're supposed to take him seriously as a president. I don't care if this was comedy. That's not comedy. Doesn't look like comedy.
It looks like gay Euro trash porn, like or some sort of weirdness. Yeah, like that's not even like funny. Like you're right. It's like it's just an exhibit of flamboyantness. It's not doing it for you, Jeff.
Yeah. There's so
Just
many
make
layers.
it stop. Just make it stop.
Please, I think it's a loop at some point. I'm like, I think it's just a loop. They hate us.
I think I even think Tyra Banks would tell him to go away.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. I think so. I guess we'll tackle this. The haunted virus. Oh no, guys. Only when we see Tedros come out do we know it's dangerous. Didn't we leave the World Health Organization? I thought we left them.
We did.
Let's see what Jerkoff's got to say here. Oh, you need to take the shots. Take the shots. We need to help yourselves here.
On more cases,
Want to see a video of him
I said it
dancing?
in my speech,
Over here.
we would expect more cases because, as you may remember, the index case, the first case in the ship was on April 6th. And until the report was confirmed as infectious, that's around April 24 or 25, there was a lot of interaction actually with the passengers. And as you know, the incubation period is also 6 to 8 weeks. So because of the interaction while they were still in the ship, especially before they started taking some infectious prevention measures, because of the interaction, we would expect more cases.
Yeah, okay. I can't listen to this guy anymore. But so yes, more cases. April 9th, April 27th. More cases. So I guess it was talking about some of the people on the trip here. Let's go to English on this one. English. Come on. From a content creator to a political advisor, who was traveling on the MV Hondius, the expedition that ended on health alert, the ship in which the hantavirus outbreak was detected, carrying around 150 people. I was in a show last Thursday. I told the guys that were on there because they're planning on doing like a chartered boat trip. I'm like, dude, I will never get on one of these freaking things. After what I saw during COVID, you'll never find me on one of these things ever. No, thank you. No, thank you. But I did have something too that one of my buddies has been doing a lot of research on COVID and all this stuff too. And I had this one up earlier here, so I'll just pop this one up again. That, this gentleman here, Dr. Pierre Corey, says over 100,000 articles were published globally about hantavirus in days. He's like, that's way, it's got to be a coordinated thing. It's very, very much unnatural. And I'm trying to find another one where my buddy was verifying that it was essentially an older post that somebody posted from a few years ago. It was like a flyer that said essentially, here we go, here it is. He says that this is hantavirus fact sheet from early 90s from a government health department. And so it says that this strain, all right, and so I think maybe Armando, you might have some clarity. I think you were talking about earlier that there are different strains on it. It says this strain here of hantavirus is not contagious. But the only last thing I'll add before I take your comment, Armando, as my buddy said, essentially it's, stay away from rat piss and saliva. Pretty simple, essentially. So, but I'm again not a doctor, and so I'll yield to you guys on this one.
So 3 things that is missing from all of this. Like I said, Thursday, I'm going to do a very deep dive into this. I'll just give my 3 points here. Number 1, actually 3.5. Number 1 is this. Who was patient 0? He actually had 3. One from South Africa, Johannesburg, one from Argentina, the other one from Queensland, Australia. You just covered the map for the globe to spread this. That's 1. Point number 2, the ones that were brought here to America were supposed to go, well, and they did, to Nebraska, okay, to a medical facility over there, military medical facility. That is also true. However, you had 2 that was just brought in here to Atlanta 2 days ago, okay, and let's just say a very good source of the show called me right away in the middle of the night and said, hey, what's a Grady Hospital ambulance, that's supposed to be an Uber, whatever type of ambulance, for Ebola and shit like that. What are they doing, getting these patients that are in astronomical looking hazard suits, coming out of the vehicle. Now, ignore the guy, right, that is not wearing anything other than a stupid mask with no gloves, handling the door handles on the ambulance for Grady. Well, as soon as they landed there at Grady, they got a call from CDC and they were told, nope, stand down, take them to Emory. Why Emory? Emory is 3 blocks away from CDC. Number 1. Number 2, Emory is one of 4 hospitals nationwide that have a containment unit for Ebola. Now, I'm not saying this is Ebola. Okay, obviously what your buddy said here about the rats and stuff like that, that is fact, that is true, but no one's talking about the Andes fever. That's the X factor, like I call it. Okay, no one's talking about that. They're talking about, oh yeah, the hantavirus. Okay, we'll get some specifics here. That fever is not a joke. If you're 50 and above and you have a compromised immune system, that fever could be lethal. And supposedly there is no vaccine or any countermeasure to tackle that, other than other reports, your usual suspects, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and the other one that I can't pronounce that starts with an F.
Bendazole.
Yeah, that one. Okay, that has, in other words, alleviate symptoms and get people through it. But everybody's missing the big point here. Why Atlanta? Why Atlanta? All right.
International
why here
hub.
and not, no, why here and not Nebraska? Well, in the beginning of June, who's hosting the first FIFA World Cup? We are. History dictates that when there is a World Cup, all foreign travelers from around the globe, they go and follow their country to wherever it is that they're playing. So if you have all these outbreaks going on in Switzerland, Spain, wherever it is that they're breaking out to, they're coming here. So what happens when you get all of these infected people, especially if they're still in the incubation period process, do the timeline, and they all go into Mercedes-Benz Stadium? You got a problem on your hands, right? And this is going to happen nationwide. So what are the 12 cities? Look up the 12 cities of where FIFA Cup is going to be hosted. Look at the names of those cities. Ghost and I, on our broadcast, we said it 2 years ago, that there's going to be 12 to 18 cities that are going to fall into a chaotic state. Bring up the names of those cities and look at them, because we mentioned them before 2 years ago. Same cities, except for Kansas City, Missouri, I believe. But they're all blue cities.
Isn't that where Argentina's team plays, Kansas City?
I believe so.
Now, how is it?
Oh,
now,
wow.
the other question is, how bad is the population of Argentina being affected by this? You would think that would be ground zero.
Correct. Look at the cities: Atlanta, Georgia; Boston, Massachusetts; Dallas, Texas. We have a Haji problem there. Houston, Texas, same thing. There's Kansas City, Missouri; Los Angeles; Miami, Florida. Again, Miami, hotbed. All right. New York, New Jersey, hotbed. Philadelphia, San Francisco Bay Area. And of course, last but not least, Seattle, Washington, right? Think about this for a minute. If this Andes fever, forget the rats, it's not a concern. Andes fever, think about that. You have a lot of old people that go to these soccer matches. You can look it up. It's documented. It's historically fact. Okay. They follow their country teams wherever they be. They got money. Okay. This is a perfect opportunity to release this droplet or aerosol type whatever through everything. Okay. Why here? We're the first ones on the map. Here's the third part that they left out of this cruise ship and their report. And I believe, Doc, it's okay for me to say it. They did make a scheduled stop that they omitted off of the map. And that was what? Antarctica.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, they went camping, permafrost.
Well, that ship, that ship is specifically built. Let's just say one of 3 ships that are the only the allowed ships that are allowed to go to Antarctica, camp on Antarctica approved grounds. And before you leave the ship, you get decontaminated. Before you come on the ship, you get decontaminated. And that's because of the penguins and all the other animal life forms out there carry different types of viruses, and they decontaminate you just so so the humans don't infect the wildlife out there, and so you don't infect anyone back on the ship when you come back aboard.
Now let's take a look at something else here. Okay.
Don't they, really quickly, don't they estimate 600,000 foreigners coming here to follow the
conservatively
cup? Yeah.
Conservatively. So just take 3% of that 600,000 that are infected. What kind of numbers are you looking at?
18,000.
That will spread quickly. Correct. All right. I am telling you, no one's talking about Andes fever. No one. It's being omitted. Oh, it's the rats, and it's highly unlikely. You know, it's C19 2.0, same track record, same approach, nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. We got it under control. Blah 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 blah. Now you got two other issues. One, no one's going to buy into this anymore. There's no masks. There's no social distancing. Right? None of that crap. The American public is awake, and they're not going to tolerate these lockdowns again. Look at what they did to, Gen X and not Gen X, Gen Z and Gen Y. Mental cases. You think they're going to go through that again? School lockdowns, closures, disinfect everything? No, they're not going to do it. They're not going to fall for this crap again.
Yeah, I'd rather call everyone 50 and over. Just complete honesty.
Yeah.
Like if they don't survive the virus, whatever the virus is, they're like, okay, well, too bad. Like we're not doing that again to our kids. It's not going to be a thing.
Nope. They're going to resist. So what a prime opportunity if this in fact, and I hope it doesn't, this in fact does become an issue. It becomes a problem. Okay. So what executive order did POTUS just sign not too long ago?
Anybody? Oof, I know he signed a couple.
Yeah, the Presidential Powers Act. So if something happens, he can extend his time in office.
Bingo. And we just got away from WHO. So here's where I'm going with this. What if he declares a state of national emergency to go up against this thing? If it becomes a problem, lock it down. Now you deploy National Guard. The hospitals right now, believe it or not, are in a chaotic state. Lack of supplies, lack of nurses, lack of experience, okay, all across the board, seriously. And people start going to hospitals, you got a problem on your hands. So what's going to happen? National Guard sets up mass triage units in the parking lot of the hospitals to take care of those that are sick, right? You go into 10 days, 15 days. Let's just go 8 weeks of darkness because that's the incubation period. So everywhere you go, between 8 and 5 to go to your grocery store, your drugstore, papers, please. You get randomly pulled over just checking who you are. I am telling you. And what's around the corner that everybody's missing? also as well, the 250th of the country, July 4th. We're very close.
Yeah.
Okay, a month out from June when FIFA starts, right? And you know what's going to happen from that? They're going to blame Trump for this hantavirus, and good luck with the midterms if they don't suspend it.
Well, also in the military special operations community, the UK is sending in their SAS, Special Air Service, Special Boat Service, and they actually there's video that was just dropped that SAS approved, where they sent in a SAS medical team, dropped them into an isolated community where there was a community member from that city that came down with the virus, and they sent in a SAS special ops medical team. And I don't know if the audience knows, but in the special operations community, there is surgical. So they have special forces, special operations, surgical teams, medical teams that's specifically designed just for surgical triage in certain scenarios. And in this case, the SAS team they parachuted into this community with a team of 7 to 12 members and went into that community, and they're currently working there right now to see what's going on with the community, and there's no feedback on the patient that tested positive. They did the serology report, and that's the only thing that came back. And the serology report is from, taking the blood, and that he did test positive. And so the one thing that the UK is being proactive on this with their military. And so that's, it's.
I think we will too. Don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do. I
Lock
do.
this one down properly, and then turn it on them.
You bring up an excellent point there, Ghost, because let's go back to that ship, right? Let's go back to that vessel. I'm sorry, okay? But if I'm captain of that ship and I know that I have 3 people that have died on board that ship, and I know that there's an outbreak, okay, a virus outbreak, okay, and I pull into Cape Verde, not pull in, but I stay maybe a mile, 2 miles offshore, right, from Cape Verde, and I radio it in, we got a problem. We got a viral pandemic here. Quarantine the damn ship. Don't go into port. Nobody gets off. I don't give a damn how much money these millionaires are. They can scream all they want. Nope, nobody goes nowhere.
Right.
You can helo in pallets of medical supplies, food, water, whatever they need so they can stay out there, and then helo in a team of people, professionals that can handle something like this and take care of the frickin' problem. You don't let them disembark and then get on an airliner and go back to your home countries when you have this type of outbreak. What are you, nuts? This was done on purpose. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion. Again, this is 19 all over again. Same freaking playbook.
Same players. They laid pipeline in a different area of the world. That's all. And a new boogeyman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the companies that are backing up the research and helping the patients are the same companies that were the originators helping the original patients of COVID-19.
There you go.
Yeah. They got the same crisis actors too. I put a video out there.
Absolutely. Yes.
I have a totally opposite angle on this if you guys want to hear it. Because
go for it, man.
I have some stuff up here. So Trump just went on in an interview and he was saying that he's essentially going to say, in order to trick those with TDS, anything that he wants, he will say he doesn't want it, and then they will want it. And then all of a sudden, he has them doing whatever he wants them to do. Right. So he's putting out reverse psychology to the masses constantly. And I saw that with the Epstein files. It's nobody wants the Epstein files, and everyone wanted the Epstein files. And they're like, Trump turned on us. It's no, he's using reverse psychology. Stop being retarded. But anyways, we're going to move. So he did it again, I think, because right now there is no Christian Heritage Month in the United States. That's not a thing. Back in, it shows July 2023 or 2023 in California, they tried to do it, but they had to cancel it because of massive controversy. So Trump put out that he is making May 2026 Jewish American Heritage Month, right? And he's calling for everyone to have National Sabbath, the Shabbat, on May 15th through the 16th as a one-time observance. Just FYI, that so the Shabbat, that's like no technology. There's weird rules. Ask a Jew; they'll tell you how to get around all of them. But
sundown Friday, sundown Saturday.
Thank you. But I will be.
Yeah.
I will be at DreamHack Atlanta at a giant like streaming convention, meeting with a bunch of the other Rumble streamers. So I'm going to be doing the opposite of what he's asking, like a lot of people. And now the reason I bring this up at all is because if you look up Hanta in Hebrew, it means scam, fraud, nonsense, lie, rubbish, something fake, load of crap. So you have the guy who's the crisis actor, and he worked in Jerusalem in their public affairs office, and he's one of the crisis actors. He's a gay Jewish guy, and he's screaming about how hantavirus is real and it's terrifying and you need to be scared. And that guy's doing that. And then Trump comes out and says, hey, we're making Jewish American Heritage Month, and the hantavirus, like, people are going to have a spotlight, and it's going to be it's the Jews again thing. It's going to blow up. And then what they're going to look at that and say, hey, Hanta, hoax, fake, fraud. That's what it means in their lingo. So I think that there's going to be a massive amount of skepticism, even more than before, because Trump is driving people that direction. And just to clarify, I don't think that it's all the Jews. That's ridiculous. But I think it's always some of the Jews. That's just fact. But this is my angle. I think that it's going to be seen as a hoax by the greater masses because of Trump's reverse psychology with this, declaration of Jewish Heritage Month. I don't think that's going to be well received right now.
Right.
Good angle. Here's a final point that I'll make on this. Now, it just recently was revealed to me, Rogue RN, again, latest, is over at Emory, the patients that they are looking at, they're charting that their condition or whatever they have is being charted as unknown. Let that sink in. You mean to tell me they don't know?
Oof, that's scary.
Being charted as unknown. Well, what the hell's unknown? If it's rat piss, rat dumps, or, the rat spit on you in your eye or something like that, well, hey, it's not that bad, right? But again, no fever. No Andes fever. It's not being mentioned at all. And I think that is the X factor in this entire thing. But we'll see.
Now,
right now, it's a calm before the storm. You got to see how it shakes out when they study it a little bit. But we'll see that soon enough.
Armando, now the Andes fever thing, are there cases of that out somewhere? Or is it something that is what's the deal with that?
The ones that had it are already dead. 7 cases reported so far. And as I was told, whenever you're given a number that's being reported, always add a 0 to the end of that.
True.
Saying, yeah.
Do we know where they are?
Somebody here in the chat just put up brain matters. So what? Just ivermectin, zinc, vitamin D3, and then the other 2, hydroxychloroquine and the whatever, I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry.
Benzol, methylene blue, I think, supposedly helps with that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. So a stack, if you will, of those ingredients that Brain Matters put here in the chat. Yeah, you are spot on. If I did a little bit of digging into that, especially for folks that are 50 of age and older, with a compromised immune system. In other words, compromised immune system, meaning whatever condition they have, like type 2 diabetes or whatever the case may be, that's unmanaged, are more susceptible to fatality from this type of fever. But if you have these nutrients already in your system, as he pointed out here, you have a much greater rate of survival. You just have to make sure that if your immune system is compromised, you got to manage it. You got to put it in check, no matter what it is. Blood pressure, especially lung stuff like pneumonia and stuff like that. You got to keep it all in check. And we can get over this, I'm sure. But the scare tactics, they're there. The typical C-19 scare tactics and the protocol and the way this thing is rolling out, it's all there. It's a Hail Mary, if you will, before the midterms. But whatever, I'm done.
Identical. Yeah, and just really quickly, just really quick. One of my buddies I mentioned from time to time, he used to be a medical researcher, and he has actually wrote a book about the COVID stuff. At PPR_Millet. I was talking to him a little while ago. Now I'm waiting for a response for him, and here is my question that I just texted him. Hey, you still believing that the ivermectin is not good, but the fenbendazole is good? Because I remember we had a talk, and I'm not poo-pooing the ivermectin at all, but I remember he was telling me maybe a couple of months ago, if you have a choice, certainly go with the fenbendazole. Now, I had heard the same thing ever since COVID times that, ivermectin or fenben will work, and I'll see if he answers me by the time we get this live stream done, but I'm not a doctor.
If you had to drop one, you'd drop the ivermectin in this case.
Yeah. That's basically what he was saying. It's more effective. The fenben is more effective. So, again, I'll try to get some clarity on what exactly he meant by that, because I can't remember what happened 3 days ago right now, to be honest with you. Things are flying along here, which is good.
But I think everybody should be taking D3, C, zinc, whatever. Yeah, everybody should be boosting their immune system right now. Just for precaution, 2 weeks of that before there's any, let's say it does break out on a more massive scale. 2 to 3 weeks of that prior to it breaking out on a more massive scale. You've done what you can, other than diet, exercise, all of the things that everyone knows are good for them. Just start doing them. And I think an extra measure of whiskey every day would help.
Good Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Some Cash Patel bourbon.
But there's other things that they found were effective that people were taking them. Famotidine, over-the-counter acid reducer. It's not a PPI, a proton pump inhibitor of any kind. That, low-dose aspirin. A number of things that if you were taking them routinely or semi-routinely would also have helped. I got to find that list again, because 3 of the 5 I was already taking. And it was interesting, but there is things I can't wait till the science on this is fully explored, because I think you're going to find some, let's say, some similar chemistry in certain respects to COVID. They're going to find that it's coming through the same. I think from the same original source. Talking years ago, back in the 90s, late 90s, I think it's coming from the same source. I think it's just work built upon from what they have done since H1N1 and prior to that even. And here we are. This was so predictable. I would have bet on this one, and I don't gamble.
Right.
That it would have been within a certain frame, December to May, and here we are. In April, it hits.
Yeah, and my concern, I do these little mini game, war game things in my head, and kind of to Armando's point and a little to Jeff's point as well, was I was thinking like, okay, everybody knows now the kind of scam that they did on COVID, right? And my fear was now that they're actually going to put something out, kind of like what Armando's talking about, the Andes stuff, that actually will kill people. And then we'll get into a point where people are like, screw that, I'm not going to follow that protocol. And then actually have something bad come out and people, ignore it. That was always, had been my fear from time to time. Just kind of putting it out there. But this is actually awesome. This is from today, guys, 5 hours ago. Breaking. Bill Malugan says, Senate Homeland Security Committee Chairman Senator Rand Paul tells me, Senator, you don't know what you're talking about. Tells me that the COVID-19 whistleblower who will testify publicly and in person before his committee tomorrow morning is an active CIA employee who will testify that the intelligence community has covered up the origins of COVID-19 pandemic for years. Quoting, says, I think this whistleblower will help to confirm that this was known, has been known for a long time, and that when the scientists at the CIA looked at this, they discovered or they concluded that the virus had come from the lab. Senator Paul tells me, quote, what we're going to find is that the cover-up is a real thing, that there are members of the community, the intelligence community, that still don't want the truth to come out. I've said the government was involved not only funding this research, but then in trying to obscure the truth. And then the truth is the U.S. government funded research in Wuhan, China, and that research led to a virus that escaped the lab, in all likelihood accidentally. Okay, so it just says the person's a brave person who spent a career in the CIA. I don't know how much can be revealed, but he is actually famous within the community for being someone who, behind the scenes, has really helped our country. I will be in the room and covering the hearing, Fox News tomorrow morning. So I don't have a plan to do a show tomorrow, guys, but I might click on the computer while my son's at work and pop this thing on, because I'd be interested to find out who the whistleblower is. He's somewhat famous from behind the scenes helping. Guys, any guesses?
Well, tomorrow.
We'll see.
Yeah,
what are you doing tomorrow, Ghost?
I'm staying home.
Okay,
but I
so
think you're going to
you.
probably hear in the morning when you turn on, whatever, your computer, your TV, radio. So-and-so was scheduled to testify today, mysteriously died in a car accident or fell out a window or something.
It might be Brennan, too. I mean,
Brennan,
Sorry.
for famous within the community of helping the country.
I think it's Mueller.
Oh God, isn't he in the Puzzle Factory somewhere?
Or it could be Alex Jones. I mean, I don't know.
He died.
Yeah.
Well, Mueller's in the Puzzle Factory somewhere, unfortunately, or whatever that is. Oh, I'm sorry. What page was that? Oh, that was bad. I guess really quickly. I guess Armando. I think he mentioned something here. President Trump from early this morning. No Republican has ever spoken to me about Cuba, which is a failed country and only heading in one direction, down. Cuba is asking for help, and we are going to talk. In the meantime, I'm off to China. Peace out, President DJT. Freaking Cupid cigars.
Wow.
What do you think? Any comments on that, Armando? I know you're our resident Cuban connection here.
Look, he's already 3 times. He's already floated. Venezuela is going to be the 51st state. I'll eat popcorn in the meantime on that one. Will Cuba have that same opportunity? I sure as hell hope so, because it would be it will be in the plus factor for America to have Cuba as a state, whether it's 52nd, 53rd, 54th, it doesn't matter as long as it happens, because commercially, financially, economically, America will go gangbusters as far as what's going to come out of that country if it becomes a state. Again, we'll see, again, but the regime has to go either by noose, by Gitmo, or exfil to Spain. They can have them all. Just don't want them there. We'll see. We don't know. Again, he's got the plan. They've got all their ducks in a row. If you take a look at aerial surveillance from our military, they're drawing circles around that island with everything that they got. Just collecting intel.
But right now, if this turns out to be, say, a pathogen that has a very high mortality rate, but doesn't spread that easily, can be contained. I hope people don't think I'm scheming like Mr. Evil here, but the reality is these things are going to happen. They're going to be engineered. They're going to be put upon us. Now is the perfect time to turn the table on so many things with it. Especially if it is 40 to 60%, 30 to 60% mortality rate, or 40 to 60, whatever it was that we were looking at yesterday and the day before. That would scare your average individual, but if it can be contained, that's why I said the military should pounce on this one. They have the capability to do it to a certain extent. Then you have FEMA, etc. Not saying, I don't have a great love for FEMA as a rule, but I have my reasons for that.
Just needs to stay out of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think look at the timing of everything. This is a move. If you're sitting there wanting to maintain your fiefdom, your global fiefdom, this is the perfect time, perfect place, and we are the country that's in the crosshairs with this one, no doubt. Now is the perfect time to turn the table. It had to be expected in certain circles. I was expecting it. We were all, everybody on this call was expecting it, to one degree or another, before this midterm. This is the perfect time to turn the tables. If you're going to do 10 days, 20, 30 days of dark, do it now. Do it once once everybody's butthole starts puckering and toilet paper sales have gone to X number on the toilet paper index. Then the panic level is up.
Just go to Costco. Go to Costco. Costco has pallets of toilet paper stacked to the freaking ceiling already.
Yeah, they've got somebody who's doing little commodities speculating there too, and with toilet paper. It should be a commodity. Everybody needs it. Not everybody uses, let's say, oil to drive, other than in the household with products and everything, that how it moves. Kids don't, but kids use toilet paper. That should be a commodity. I'd invest in that one. But bottom line here is now would be the perfect time. Just the mental state of the nation as it stands, if you look at it as a whole and take as much as you can into consideration. I think we've got as far as we can get with saturation of, are you seeing the big picture yet? Are you seeing the big picture yet? More and more are, slowly but surely. To what degree is debatable, but now would be the time to do it. Between now and no later than, let's say, first week in June. And I think we're going to see that come, depending on what comes out of Atlanta, I think as early as this Sunday, it's possible. Because if they say, whoa, the nature of this, if they want to play that game the way they're going to play it, the nature of this is such that he does have to then pull out and dust off the state of emergency that always is in effect in this country, whether people know it or not. It is. And say, okay, we're going to set some rules here for everyone. Everyone's going to bitch and complain, a certain segment, maybe 20, 30, 25, 35% in there. The rest are going to go, okay, what's happening? Let's see what's happening. And maybe 5, 7% are going to be, okay, this is the best time to get it done. Right now would be the best time in the coming 2 to 3 weeks. If you're going to do that, damn well do it. From my vantage point, most is in place. If not, I'd say 85, 90% is in place to do it. The rest is variables. You can't control.
Pay attention to the key giveaway. Okay, again, 2 patients at Emory.
Mm-hmm.
They're charting unknown. What do you mean? This type of hantavirus has been around for years, long time. Okay, so has Andes fever, has been around forever. Okay, Why would you document patient charting, 2 of them, not hundreds, 2, okay, as unknown? So either A, you know what you got, or B, you're too stupid to know what you got, especially when they're in a Ebola containment unit at Emory.
I find it hard to believe they haven't at least pretty much identified down to the let's say subgenus of what it is, and then give this one a specific name. It doesn't take that long to do that.
No, it does not.
Not with and you have what do you have 3 blocks away, CDC. So you've got the minds, you've got all the minds you need to make a diagnosis of exactly what this is. And this, I think there's a game in that too. And that game is meant for more quiet layers, let's say. Because there's actually leverage in that time. How are we going to designate it? Not you, we. So all of the nonsense and the globalist control mechanisms that were in place in 2021, 22, not there anymore. A lot of it's been nullified. Again, change the game. Well, you knew I guarantee you it was known that this pathogen release was coming. What type, where and when became clear as the day came closer. It was known, and then it's okay now. How are we, not how are we, but how do we want to? Because 5 ways have probably already been mapped out to get in front of this. Either one would work. This is the time if you're going to do it.
They've had these
Had it be
for a long
something
time.
severe.
How is it that Moderna had the vaccine already in 2019 for hantavirus and the patents that are out there? They've had this shit for a long time.
This was in their playbook 20 years ago.
Exactly. And what a perfect time to roll it out now, right? Again, timing, right?
But the thing is, you had so many in
the 250th of the country, the FIFA World Cup, the 250th of the country, okay, and the midterms. Come on, man. You can't make this shit up. I'm sorry. You just can't.
It's perfect timing.
There you go.
Turn the table.
And here's the funny part. You, sir, came on the broadcast, remember, 2 years ago. Nukes are off the table. I remember that broadcast like yesterday, 2 years ago. Nukes are off the table. It's bad for business, for everybody. Nobody wants it. So if there is something that's going to happen, it's going to be something, what? Viral. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are, biologically. Sorry. Takes a lot of research, takes a lot of digging, takes a lot of siphoning through a lot of crap to be able to come up with good data points that are what? Probability factor or possibilities. You factor that in. Because none of us here have the magic crystal ball in front of us saying, this is truth, this is the real, here it is right here. No. But there is data that you can use, okay, and metrics that you can apply to the data that you find out there and find out what is a high probability or a possibility, and then just weigh it from there. And I'm sorry, we're just at that point. But Jeff brought up a great point. Trump is always 5 steps ahead of everybody. And that reverse psychology thing that he pointed out, home run, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You pull out of who? You pull out of the NATO? God, I wish, he would pull out of the UN tomorrow. That would be great. All right. And here's another one. You got Putin on one side, who contributed $1 billion into the Council of Peace. You got Trump cleaning up the Western Hemisphere. And now where is Trump? Over in China. Gee, I wonder why he's there. I don't know. Sounds a little strange to me. Okay. I'm just going to say that. He says something wrong. We too low.
He's saying, gee, how do you like your American oil?
like it
Thank you.
processed or not. Now, guys, I'm not exactly sure what this is. One of my buddies, One Leg Patriot, sent this over. I said, "What is this, from a document, something?" But it's talking about some things in Ukraine, apparently, pathogens of infectious diseases, which are laboratory, especially dangerous infections. And then they basically had all these things listed out. And then he made a comment that there was just a listeria breakout in Oregon not too long ago as well. So other craziness going on out there. I'd have to dig in to find out.
What was one of the major reasons Putin went into Ukraine that he even made public, even made known?
It's for the biolab research.
And before that war even started, I was telling people publicly, there are biolabs there. There's about 55, I think there was, give or take. But a certain small segment of them, 10 or 15, between 10 and 15, were working on some very nasty stuff. Why? They could do it in Ukraine. Most nations would have never allowed them to host those kind of experiments or developments there. And they could also do it there without scrutiny that a Western public or government would have given them had they known about them. But they don't, even here, you don't know about these things deep in the bowels of biological development. You're not going to. But reality is that's one of the main reasons he went in there. One of the things his special forces attacked Spetsnaz one after first were that small group of labs that was working on some very interesting pathogens. Some of them were genetic based that would have killed certain genomes. One of them happened to be a major Slavic genome that runs through most Russians.
Coincidence?
They've been working on those types of weapons since the 80s, by the way. And those are the scariest of all, because actually a pathogen can be tailored developed to an individual if wanted, if your genetics are had, which everyone's are, by the way. You didn't have to send a 23andMe. It was already taken from you. You just didn't get the report with all the map colored in where your stuff was from, and then found out your daddy wasn't your daddy or something like that. But whatever the case may be.
Wait, so how did they get
Very
it?
dangerous stuff.
So how did they
You
get
go to
it?
hospitals, don't you?
Oh, no.
You ever been to a doctor or a hospital?
Yes. Yeah, I get
In
you.
the past
But not in a long
15
time.
years?
Yeah, well, not for me.
It's not a doctor or a hospital. Just go to a dentist.
Labs. Yeah, labs.
Oh, anything,
have been doing this. I mean, the VA was asking you to volunteer for years, begging people, join the Million Man, whatever, 2 million man something. It was for what? Well, we want to do genetic screening, and we'll tell you all the good and bad things. That's not why you want it. That's one reason. Yeah, because you want to you want to be able to predict your costs in the future. Smart thing to do. But you're going there giving blood every other visit. If they want it, they're just going to take it.
True.
They're not going to ask. You just won't get included in the results, or the paperwork rather, that sends you your particular results. I personally kept saying, no, that's okay. I'm going to die when I'm going to die, and I'm pretty healthy other than being banged up.
I'm good
So
with that.
don't care. Yeah, don't care.
Well, here we got in Florida, since we're talking about, vaccines, medicines, and whatnot stuff. Florida is set to become the first state in America to ban all vaccine mandates of any kind, not just COVID. He's saying your body is a gift from God. Pretty much every state has them, and it's wrong. So this is wild. Again, even me as a little kid, 5th grade, I remember asking my mother, and she's like, because you have to, just be quiet and go to your room. Like, Mom, I don't want to get the shots tomorrow. Well, you can't go to school. Yeah, but I don't want to get the shots. But you're protecting all the people in your class by getting a shot. Well, they all have the shots, right, Mom? Yeah. Well, if they all have the shots, then they can't get this disease, right? They couldn't get it from me. So just go to your room. You have to take the shot. And then so it might, even being a little kid, I'm thinking, wait, everybody else has the vaccines, right? So how would I compromise anybody else? So, that logic still works to this very day. It's like, if everybody's vaccinated, then you have that one kid in the class that's not vaccinated. What the hell is anybody concerned about? Right? Makes no sense.
And then just the number. You're right, though. The numbers don't work out for certain things. It just is it's a moot point. With COVID, I got news for people who got vaccinations. I never got one. Most people I know didn't get one, and we all got it. And some of us didn't even know we had it, other than it was a headache and a lethargic feeling for a few days. Never tested positive. Did not curtail my movements. Always took my mask off outside the home. I kept it on inside the home. No, I'm just kidding. I never wore one at all unless somebody made. And then I would pick out one of those designer ones that basically had an FU on the front of it. But it was. I remember going to a supermarket, and it was one of the first days everybody was expected to wear a mask. And I just turned around, and my wife says, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And I said, "Oh, leave me alone." And I went, "Happy COVID, everyone." I kid you not. Everyone could hear me in all 20 of the registers. And people just stopped and looked at me. It was, but what are you supposed to do? Stop and give them a lecture? No, I'm leaving. But that's all I could think to say, because the one lady was saying something about he's not wearing a mask. And I'm like, no. Leave that cashier alone. Come talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that wouldn't happen. But even though they did do that in many places, legally they were putting themselves in jeopardy even by doing that. But here we go again. Everyone 6 feet apart, lockstep, see Kyle, etc. This is what the first go around was about. Or as I texted to my buddies this morning, Seek Bill.
Seek Bill.
Yeah, Bill, Microsoft Bill.
Oh, Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Guy couldn't keep a virus off a computer.
He is, I think he's angry at God for making him such a handsome man. And that's what he takes out on the world.
Is that his boobs were bigger than his wife's? Well,
look at the meat. Look at the what do they call those? That anti-meat tick,
dude.
Oh yeah.
War
boxes
crime.
of ticks that are being reported.
Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, I did see that. And did you see that some farmers are showing that there are actually boxes that are left on their property? So it's a purposeful thing, absolutely purposeful. Disgusting.
Look at the report coming out of the report coming out of the Everglades with the pythons, right?
Ooh, they were on fire.
Infested with ticks, like those ticks, those engineered ticks on pythons.
Yeah. So the pictures one of you guys sent with around his mouth.
Yep.
You sent it, I think.
And on the body. Yep. It's out there on X. Well, I know the indigenous folks out there in the Everglades used to eat pythons or, snake, rattlesnake. Some people eat it, but can't do it no more. They got ticks.
Wow. And it was on fire yesterday. I think it was, I had it in my show notes, but I didn't get to it. But a wildfire burning in the Everglades near the Broward, Miami-Dade county line has grown to 4,800 acres and remains 0% contained as it approaches US 27. That is bananas.
And that fire right there is right butted up to Pembroke Pines, where I basically lived a bunch of my years when I lived there. But what sticks out to me is I've seen Everglade fires before. They don't burn like that. That's a perfect straight line.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a freaking laser.
How'd that happen?
Space lasers.
Maybe they're getting rid of the ticks on the pythons in there. I don't know.
Right, space laser beams there, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's right. She was right though.
She was.
Just one thing I wanted to kind of get out because Ghost was talking about, and I probably lost it, but the first go around when we did this stuff, remember, they were calling him right here. Remember, in the very early days of COVID-19, when President Trump placed flight restrictions, what did they do? They called him a racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here in the video, I'll just scrub it so you won't have to watch the thing, but Democrats in San Francisco, led by Nancy Pelosi, and you had other Democrats in New York City literally telling people, hey, we're in Chinatown. Hey, don't worry, we're good. Come on out here. Don't worry about what might be coming ahead. Listen for this for a second.
Able to be unified with our community. We want to be vigilant about what it might be on what is out there in other places. We want to be careful about how we deal with it, but we do want to say to people, come to Chinatown. Here we are.
Here we are in Chinatown while the president is restricting travel to our country, right? And then we have this guy. He's saying the same in New York City.
Diseases originate from anywhere or from particular places in the world.
Yeah, so he was basically saying, we're hardy people here in New York, come join us. And she was saying the same. This is how evil and disgusting these people were, right? Just kind of anything they could do to be against President Trump is absolutely disgusting. So, again, I try to remind people to say, like, us normal human beings that think like, oh no, I could never do that. You can't look at it like that because they don't think like we do. They don't have the same, I wouldn't even say same conscience. I don't think any of these people have consciences, if that's the right way to say it. These people are just downright evil.
They're on the globalist team.
I think they're I think they're reptilians.
Yeah. She's a drunk reptilian. She just if you played that again, thinking that she had a few stiff drinks, seriously,
all you got to do is take a look
realistic.
All you got to do, as far as reptilians are, look at the purple-haired freaking senator from what is it?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
is that California? One of the California? No, it's not California. Where the hell?
I think Brennan looks like a reptilian. If you ever take a freeze frame, oh my God, what a ghastly looking person.
And the other one, the race baiter, I think from California.
Oh, the one who won Miss California 40 years ago. You'd have to say that. I'm in one of those days where if somebody says something, I can't think of the name. Maxine Waters.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
it's Connecticut, by the way.
Rosa DeLauro.
DeLauro, yeah.
What? You don't like her hairstyle? I think it's kind of flashy. It's flashy.
Where did she come from?
Connecticut, apparently.
She came from planet Klingon.
Well, hey, at least the eyelashes or the eyebrows, whatever that is, her eyelids match her hair. Oh my God, that is bad. Born in New Haven. Yeah, it's just horrendous. And remember, well, speaking of Pelosi, because this just came up, has happenstance. But remember this whole weird thing. I mean, this is the weirdest crap ever too. Because remember, he was supposed to have security there, and then the police get to the door. And remember when they got to the door, it was like this weird comedy skit going on. Like they're like, "Oh, drop the hammer," and he's like, "No," like, "Oh, I'm gonna hit the dude in the head." I mean, this whole thing was the weirdest thing ever. Let's see. I just thought this was. We'll trip down memory lane here. Look, I mean, what is going on here? Me and my boyfriend, we just had a little argument. Leave us alone. Let us go. Here we go. Oh, come on. Of course it doesn't want to do it. Come on, you son of a gun. I hate when it does this
You didn't
stuff.
like it when I called him Zelensky.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, we're good.
What's going on, man? Everything's good. Hi. Drop the hammer. Nope. Hey.
Nope.
What's going on right now?
I'm not getting an answer on call back.
Bro, shit.
I don't know, guys. I just don't know.
Damn.
What have we been seeing for the last many years?
It sounded like he connected with Flesh with that one.
He has a little squirt there. Supposedly, he hit him in the head with a hammer. And that was the dude. But yeah, he was, and I forget what this guy. He had been around other things, filming things before. And again, this is going back just years, and I had no intention of bringing that up. But all right, that's what happens when when I get a little scatterbrained there and look at other clips that are in my lineup there. Let's see. Again, what do you guys make of Massey, guys? I get all this stuff going back with him and Trump, back and forth, and then today we got, I think it was today, James O'Keefe has apparently one of his ex-girlfriends. Is this the one? Oh, it's underneath this one. Wait. Oh, wait, no, it's the wrong link that I just did. J, right here. At JTC. Where is it? Massey's,
Actually have it right here if you want it, if you don't have it.
No, right here. The problem is I put too many links in my stuff. But so basically, she's saying, and again, I don't know what's legit, what's not legit, but Cynthia West is saying that she's an ex-girlfriend of Thomas Massey, and she's trying to expose him as a sexual deviant and bribed her with $5,000 to stay silent. Massey DM'd her on X in August 24, not even 2 months after his wife of 31 years had passed away in June of 24. Massey ended up getting her a congressional staffer job in D.C. Massey pressured her to be involved in deviant sexual behavior with him. Cynthia rejected, feeling extremely pressured and uncomfortable. When she rejected, Thomas Massey had her fired, bribed her, and threatened her not to file a complaint. A complaint was filed in the fall of 25, the same period when Massey remarried to a different staffer 20 years younger than Massey. The man who claimed screamed the loudest about transparency for Epstein turned out to be a scumbag himself. Now, again, Jeff, did you end up getting to listen to any of this thing? Because I didn't really...
I didn't. I just had it sent to me, so it's in my inbox from somebody. But no, I definitely am on a holding pattern for that. I hate the Me Too movement, and I don't care which direction it goes. So, without really any evidence at all, with all the people that beef and hate Massey, I just don't believe it on its face. So I'd have to see more evidence.
Yeah, and I just know that, like, so it's like you got Massey, you got Tucker, you got Candace. Those are the few people that are pushing. And so is this just a retort in the opposite direction to try to, throw him under the wheels or something like that? So I try to look at it from both sides of it. But I also will say, I couldn't see, and this is just me personally, right? Like if I was married to a woman for 30 years and she just had, cancer and died, like I'm not getting married like within a year. You know what I mean? And maybe, I don't know how he feels
I'm
or
not
whatever.
DMing someone 2 months later to
like she's
get
gone.
a booty call. Like
she's finally gone. We just left the morgue. What's up? Like, what are you doing tonight? Like, what the hell? But yeah, I mean, he married this woman in short order after his, lifelong, whatever. Because I remember seeing the videos about him and how much he loved his wife, and it's like, well, he remarried pretty damn quick. So again, that doesn't mean that he's, a political. It doesn't mean anything as far as what he's doing in the political realm. And I don't know. Again, I've said it on record. I'll continue to say it. I don't know which of these people are genuinely, against Trump, like say a Tucker. Is he genuinely against Trump and trying to expose that, or is he kind of working with him to expose the AIPAC side of things? Because as much as we've talked about, even on here, like, yes, it's not all, like, you can't just say, oh, every Muslim is a problem, or every Christian is a problem, or every Jewish person is a problem, right? You just can't give them that blanket situation. So I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know which people are in there for the narrative, because again, the other side of that is the fact that they do have an AIPAC person for everybody in Congress, and that is unacceptable. So I don't know which ones are which, but I'm here for it.
Well, I'll say one of them that's which. You said earlier that you played the clip for everybody about the losing on purpose for standing in precedent in court. Yeah. That's America First Legal. That's Stephen Miller, known extraordinarily based on our side Jewish guy. So I'm just letting you know, like, no matter what your feelings are, like you have to understand, you got to see there is a cabal. There is, like a group of the bad actors, and there are people who are the good actors from every walk of life, including all the Muslims in these neighboring countries to Iran that are fighting on our side. So, like, you have to keep a clear head about that stuff.
Yeah, I love Miller. He's a beast. He is an absolute beast. Oh my God, he's Jewish. So, and did he do anything to destroy our country or harm our people? No. Okay, I'm good with him then. You know, that's how I look at that. And you know, we have to understand that there is a deep state place, you know, a deep state cabal in every country. And I look at, and hopefully I'm right with this statement, guys. Maybe you guys will correct me. Hopefully not. But I look at like Iran as like the final big boss, right? Like, to me, I said it the other day. It was like it looked fairly easy, and I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, obviously. But when Trump went over and met with Kim, basically it seemed to me like it was nothing, like a snap of a finger, and then it was like, oh, Kim's free, okay, we're good. But then obviously the Iran thing is a little bit deeper. So I'm looking at them as like the final boss, where all of these deep staters are basically using as their home base, and I would put, you know, Obama and a majority of his administration in there as well. So we'll see what's going on. So anything else that we need to cover, guys? I mean, I got other links that I can pull up and we can talk about whatever, you know, for whatever. But I just didn't, you know, if there's anything in particular that any of you guys want to get out and that we haven't, so just, you know, jump in and let me know. But FDA Chief Marty Makary is resigning. Just last month, Dr. Robert Malone said Makary is the person responsible for hiding COVID-19 vaccine pediatric deaths from the public, and today he resigns. So was he right? Maybe, I don't know, but looks like it, right? Circumstantially, it looks like it. But good thing if he was hiding stuff like that. Today?
A lot of resignation. Well, recently.
Yes.
And the resignations always signal turmoil. And I think what we're looking at, I honestly think we're in that window where, and I hope people understand what I'm saying when I say this, that table is turned completely. Because your deep state are nothing more than those who've agreed to or complied to or been compromised to. And most of the time it's compromised through either their own greed or appetites, which can be disgusting, or ones they develop. There are very few in the House and the Senate who are not bought and paid for, who don't have dual citizenship to a country they've never been to, for example. Very few of them, very few. And we're at a set of converging data points, and that means a pivot point. Though everyone points to Trump, yes, wonderful man for doing what he's done. He didn't have to do this, but he's done it as far as running for president, etc. And most people got on the simplistic cult of personality bandwagon of TDS. That was, I don't think it was quite expected it would be that ridiculous and virulent in the end. And most Americans have to understand, your minds have been programmed and played, even if you think you're awake, and you are awake to a great degree. You're still being programmed and played. You have to watch for that. You have to keep your mind. Because now I think we're coming into a period, let's say the endless loads of AI crap that are being pumped out there. Sound, images that are not real, that people are accepting as real. Even articles that are not real, people are accepting as real. This is one vast experiment at the same time. I think it'll fall on its face in the fullness of time for usage. It'll be a lesson in history on how people can be manipulated. And the most precious space you possess is that between your ears, your temporal space. And it's yours to preserve, but it's yours it's your most valuable tool ever, but especially now, and how you're going to navigate what's coming up. They've already set all of the foundation in place for COVID 2.0. Except this one's going to be scarier to you. But is it really scarier in reality, in everyday flesh and blood? Doubt it will be. Will people die? Yes. Ignorance kills, and we're all guilty of it. I don't care who you are, who you work for, what you do, we're all guilty of it to one extent or another. And when, for the first time in history, people had the chance to finally get together and communicate, not just across the country, but across borders on a mass scale in ways that had never been imagined before. Unfortunately, from the beginning, most of it was being tailored to use against you. Who could finance such a thing? Who could manage such a thing at high levels through multiple layers to your everyday life? Those who print the very thing you base your existence on, money. Those who own those units of currency. You use them. You have right of use while you possess it, and those numbers are in your account or that cash is in your pocket, but you don't own them. Now, imagine if you did own those digits, as we once did in this country. Our ancestors did, and they knew what it was like to work and to keep most of what they earned, and used it for the right reasons. This is all coming down to a final battle again. Two very big tables out of, let's say, 5 that are the 2 biggest that are battling out. Both of them, consider them both mafias. That's what the world is. It's carved up. It's managed. How many people in the United States will accept the fact that they are chattel for those digits produced to run this very country every day? You are collateral since 1937. You've been collateral for that debt. And so are your born and your unborn. Your life has been monetized in ways most can't even begin to put their finger on. If you want, we'll do shows on that. I'll bring on the people with myself, and we'll go through what we've encountered, what we've worked with, and what we've observed. And you're going to see things in a way you've never seen them before. But this final battle is down to the value of value. Gold has no value. Silver has no value. Platinum, palladium, rhodium have no value. They only have value because human beings say they do. What do you think they are used to pin a value to ultimately? It has been for the last 600 years, you. Every surname on this planet is owned by letters patent. That's another development. Who did the president visit last week? The Vatican. So that's another data point for you in what I just said. Who went into a mega protocol and sealed up everything to the outside world, including bank, inquiries, records, everything. But you had to have permission to get records anyway. It's a sovereign state. Sovereign. Sovereign entities own this planet. They own you. They own the way you do business with each other. They own how you get paid. I'm just a secretary at a corporation. They own your damn corporation ultimately, and everything that it utilizes to do business with. And you're a tool in that corporation. But in your private life, you're already owned from birth. You were bonded at birth. Certificate. What are certificates? Learn what they are. Learn what permits, what licenses are. Not what you think they are, what you think you know they are. And I don't care if you've been to law school. Revisit these things. Revisit the corporeal, the corpse, the corporation, all of it. Read the first 94 canons of that, hundreds of them of the Catholic Church. You would think you were reading a modern day corporate charter on the ownership of what? Human souls. It gets way bigger than what we've even touched on here, what even intelligence agencies really touch on ever. They like to meddle with some of the cutting edge stuff on this planet that most people couldn't wrap their heads around if you broke it down to a kindergartner. However, it does exist. Again, absence of evidence does not mean evidence of absence. When there's an entire realm on this planet that is cut off to anyone's scrutiny other than to those who are a part of it and in contract to one another and agree to it, you have no access to it. I am only 2 or 3 others out there have tried to give you access to that. Yes, I've been somewhat mercurial and codifying my language in a certain way. I've had to. Otherwise, I would have lost the very head in which my brain sits that allows me to do this a long time ago. So I just want to leave, before we go on to anything else, that's what this is all about. This is over possession of humanity and how it decides its future. Is it humanity that will decide it, or is it the owners that will decide it? And that's a decision that no one gets a pass from. No one. And I'll just leave it right there for now.
Good stuff, brother. And just really quickly, while you were doing that, Truth Seekers TV, who I believe are our Australian friends. So I'm gonna when we get sometime I'll jump on their show in the next couple of weeks or so. Once my move is done, they had sent this one over and dropped the basically Dollar Rumble rant. Says, sent you an email here and basically citing this. So thank you, Truth Seekers TV, saying, Mirror, Australian lab loses hantavirus samples in mysterious 2021 accident. 2 test tubes containing hantavirus went missing from a laboratory in Australia in 2021. And interesting, disappearance was uncovered at a state laboratory in Queensland when specialists found that 323 test tubes containing dangerous viruses were unaccounted for. Among the missing samples were 2 tubes containing hantavirus, 223 containing Lissa virus, which is related to the rabies virus, and nearly 100 tubes containing the Hendra virus, considered one of Australia's most dangerous zoonotic pathogens. Do you guys remember when I pulled that thing that One Leg Patriot sent me up earlier? Wasn't there something on there with 322 also? I could have sworn there was one of those filings had like a 322 in 232 in there. So I didn't know if that was that. But missing, or did it go, did they make it go missing? Wink, wink. That's what I'm wondering.
That's where one of your patient zeros I mentioned earlier rose up from.
And again, these people should just not be playing God at all. Like, this stuff is just nasty, and I don't understand why any country out there is doing it, because it can just lead to the millions of deaths for people, which obviously I understand. But
the real question we should be asking: what was inside the other vials that they didn't identify?
Exactly.
Mars burgers, that would be a problem.
100 on
That
Hendra
would
virus.
be, Marburgers would be the biggest fear of all.
Exactly.
Marburgs.
Exactly.
Disappeared. They disappeared during the transfer of samples between refrigeration units in 2021, but the issue only came to light 3 years later following an internal audit. Authorities believe some of the samples may have been accidentally destroyed due to a freezer malfunction and documentation irregularities. That sounds like the biggest load of bullshit. No, Jeff?
0% chance, dude. Like, no way in hell.
So they disappeared, but oh wait, they may have been accidentally destroyed due to a freezer malfunction. But wait, you have them? No, they're missing. Wait, so they're destroyed or missing?
See, Bob tripped on the microwave cord and it threw a circuit. And nobody thought to check everything, and we just turned the break room back on. Yeah, right.
It's nasty stuff, guys, and clearly. And here's another thing too.
I like how they brought Australia into it this time, and South America and South Africa. It's like, let's include the Southern Hemisphere this time. Let's be inclusive.
They were some of the worst hit with the restrictions as well in Australia. So yeah, that's just nasty stuff. I forgot. I was gonna go somewhere. I forgot there for a second, but it'll pop back into my head in a minute. I did have this one to pop up for you guys. Let me see. Oh, why are we over in Iran? And I do have some stuff on UFOs, guys. I don't know if you want to get down that road at all today, but so basically Eric Daughtry here is reporting that Iran had hanged a graduate student without evidence because he was an agent for the CIA in Israel. So they're saying or reporting this is the regime that Democrats support. Let that sink in. Young Iranians are being slaughtered every week by these Islamists, and Democrats want them to have nukes. Can't let them ever win again. I mean, I'm not there, so I can't tell you, but apparently they are quite vicious over there, right? Who gave false confession. Tortured to give a false confession. And, listening to that guy on your suggestion there, Ghost, 2CTV, they talk about, or he continues to talk about what he calls, I think it's the immortal guard that is there. Yeah. And so what is that? Like regular, like would be kind of like us, like patriots that want to take their country back essentially?
Yeah. It sounds, it is a homegrown thing, but I think when you look at the flowery name Immortal Guard, probably Mossad helped them with that a little bit. There is an uptick in they're actually showing videos to bring up the feathers of what's left of the IRGC, of regular civilians now in military garb and training with I saw the one earlier I saw today. They were training with technicals and a few other Soviet-made weapons, but they had an AK sniping rifle and the one with a piece of burlap over his head. Hey, it's better than nothing, but they are, the weapons are. This is what this pregnancy has also done, because they did collapse intelligence hubs that were underground, missiles that were stored vertically for launching underground along the Strait of Hormuz and the ocean front of Iran. They collapsed a lot of the tunnels. I think they're using those 5,000 pounders of GBU 72s, things like that. And in the meantime, yes, all this is still going on. If anybody bothered to check out the points that the Iranians put forth in their proposal to end the war, the first thing you had to do was end the war, completely withdraw before they'll even negotiate with you. The president said it was such garbage, he didn't even read it. He didn't finish reading it, because the points they were wanting were absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, at this point, they sound like a bunch of desperate rug salesmen with Lugers to their heads, which they are. Think about it. I mean, there is no possibility of them winning. China is not coming to their rescue, and other than doing the same things we do whenever there's a conflict with Russia or certain other countries, we send over weapons and give training to test our shit out, or to just make some money. And China's been always is expect, if you want to hear any cheese ball slime bag, profiteering move. China will just put it on the list. China will fucking do it. All right. Russia has their reasons for doing certain things, but they've shown temperance in certain areas that aren't usually talked about as well as we did with Ukraine, even though we did some pretty, tricky stuff over there too. But the bottom line is it's playing out as things always have played out. Let it do that. We're dealing in the current paradigm with this Iranian situation. Bottom line is their days are numbered. There's no possible way they can outlast us or beat us. And with the growing, let's say, support in the region, we've always had that support. Everyone was wanting us to do it, even though publicly they were saying, oh, don't do that. Leave, they don't dare cross that Islamic line before they cross the geopolitical line, which actually matters. The other one just makes it quite a pain in the ass. And, it brings my mind back to the one recorded briefing at DARPA that somehow leaked out where they were creating we're talking about biological stuff tonight for the most part. They were creating a bioweapon that would genetically alter the brain's ability to have this, what they called the God connection. And this goes back many years, this briefing. And I looked at it then and I was outraged. And I was thinking, no, we know we can take it that far. Why do we always have to take it that far? But sometimes you look at the Middle East and you go, you know what? Just take it that far. But you really, in the end, you wouldn't say anybody with half a grain of morality or ethics about them would never agree to that. But that's how behind the times that thinking is. And we have to deal with it in a political realm and a geopolitical realm, an economic realm, which is paramount actually to both of them. And I just don't see how ridiculous the Iranian holdouts, as they call them, the Islamic occupiers, which is a perfect term for them, kind of like the two guys earlier who were bureaucratic seditionists who were turning on the president. This is a problem that will end as expected. I think we drug it out to build up those civilian forces and to make sure certain pipelines were open and others that were trying to interfere on the opposite side from Afghanistan and Iraq don't get as much of a foothold as they think. So I can't wait to read about what really happened in all these times, because that'll come out 3, 4, 5 years from now during this period of quiet, 2.5 weeks now of quiet, of ceasefire. But it's like the president said, it's on life support, but that was a quaint way of saying, yeah, we're pretty much done with what we need to prepare with as far as, refueling, restocking arms and personnel and everything with naval forces and positioning and engaging in other ground operations that, no one will talk about and shouldn't talk about. I think that's what this time has been about. And most equally important was gearing up those Iranians who are ready, willing, and able to fight. Because that's what the holdouts fear the most, because they're horribly outnumbered. It won't end well for them.
I remember that that presentation that you were talking about, because I think a lot of people falsely attributed it to Bill Gates, but it was some guy. It was some dork in an auditorium.
Wasn't Gates?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It was some other guy, but
it was a DARPA.
Yeah, but everybody, like, whenever
briefing.
whenever people like references that video, or most people that reference that video, they're like, "Oh, it's Bill Gates doing that," but it wasn't. It was some skinny guy with glasses, but he was doing a presentation in an auditory where he was basically telling, just like Go said, like, we can make these aerosols and basically have these people either be more fanatical or less fanatical, lose their connection with God, all sorts of crazy stuff that they can do for sure. And I was trying to pull it up, by looking for certain weird things, but I've gotten blasted on the side by some other craziness here. I didn't know. And so one of these things may be AI. All right. So this is what I'm just going to go on record and saying I don't know for sure. But I'm going to say that this one right here, I can't tell you guys yes or no. This is supposed to be Erica Kirk kissing some dude. This guy Cliff says Charlie's about to rise from the grave and slap her. But okay, wait, there's more. And I'm not sure about that video, Armando, because it's telling me underneath it that it's AI, so it might be. But this is pretty straightforward and pretty weird. Bombshell. Andrew Colvit's wife, Caitlin, reportedly filing for divorce, citing inappropriate relationships at work. TP USA Insider claiming that Caitlin Colvit, wife of longtime TP USA spokesman Andrew, has allegedly filed for divorce after 13 plus years of marriage. According to this April 2026 article, she's citing inappropriate relationships with colleagues at work, specifically pointing fingers at an alleged affair involving Andrew and Erica Kirk, plus claims that Erica bullied her afterward. Important caveat, this remains unconfirmed at this time. There are currently no public court records showing up in Santa Barbara. That said, Andrew Colvit has scrubbed a lot of his and his wife's personal data from the internet, and if a divorce case was filed, it's very likely would be sealed, so the public wouldn't see it anyway. So he's asking him to comment. So I don't know, if anything in here can be proven, but I'm just going to say that, one of the things I remember Charlie saying is, Nicki Minaj, she's just not a great role model for, for women. And who was like literally one of the first people that she brought on stage with her was Nicki Minaj after he died. So I'm just like, what is up with her? And then we saw all these different, let's just say odd connections. The old videos that she was in, one of them, she as an actress, as a sniper. Another one, she's going ziplining by the date of his death on a thing there. So yeah, a lot of weird stuff.
Look, I don't know why. I don't know who. Mike, I want you to please chime in on this too. I don't know. I don't know what intel wonks are stoking this coal fire, but it's a disaster. It's a dumpster fire now. Just the TP USA. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about what Erica Kirk does or doesn't do? It's a shame. It's a tragedy that Charlie was killed, period. But the rest of this nonsense is a bunch of friggin' nonsense.
Shit show.
Who's handling her? Who's parading it? Yeah, who's parading this? Going around for this shit show. You're an idiot. You're a moron, and your budget should be pulled. All of it. But I have a feeling it has to do with a lot of these, and I'm just going to say it out loud, and I'm not being prejudiced against any religion, but these, let's say, top-heavy Mormons in the intel community. You're not going to become a star and own your own solar system or whatever the hell it is you believe in the end. Knock this shit off.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a live, living, breathing, morphing National Enquirer article to take MAGA minds off the ball. And it's worked.
Sure
I don't care if Candace Owens lifts shit, dies, or comes. She needs to shut her stupid ass mouth. And I know who got her going. And she's married into a Brit family that's connected. Here, I'm going to rant for a moment. Married into a Brit family that's connected to characters like John Mappin, Do the friggin' math. I mean, this is 101 shit for any wet behind the ears off the farm. This is pathetic and stupid. Dissolve the organization. Replace it with something intelligent and long acting. This is a shit show. That's all it is. Enjoy it. If you want to sit there and argue over her and Charlie Kirk, this is replaced soap operas. Nobody watches General Hospital or Young and the Restless anymore. They're watching this shit. That's all it is. Pull your heads out of your asses if you're involved in this shit. It's not putting food on your table or making sure your family's not going to catch a disease, is it? It's diverting you from anything having to do with that, or seeing what the real issues are with the real systems in Washington, where the dumbest people in the world congregate to, in effect, run a quote unquote government. They're all run, whether it's stateside agencies or foreign, on behalf of those who print the money. Simple. You want to buy into all this flash and horse shit and, oh, Erica slept with this guy and this girl. I don't care if she fucked an elephant. I don't care. That's her. It's got nothing to do with me, my life, or anyone else's life that I know. And that, what was a shame was, Charlie Kirk was a brilliant, impassioned young man who had a future, still had a lot to learn, and it was cut short through what seems to be now a murderous yellow rage going through, let's say, the intel world globally. And that dumb stuff just needs to stop. It is easy to pull a trigger. It's hard to persuade someone. Stick with what's harder. It'll test you more and it'll build a better world.
Absolutely. Well, we do have to have our little bit of the Inquirer. Here we go. Armando, go ahead, buddy. You got something breaking?
Yep. I got a breaking report that just flashed right now. So, Doc, pay attention to this. It's going to make your spine tingle. So, the World FIFA Cup. Atlanta will host 8 matches of the 2026 FIFA World Cup at Mercedes-Benz Stadium between June 15th and July 15th. The city is hosting 5 group stage matches and a round of 32 match, a round of 16 match, and then the semifinal match. All right. Guess who's going to be the home opener? Monday, June 15th. It's going to be
Atlanta.
Here in Atlanta. Okay.
Oh,
it's going to be Spain versus Cape Verde.
Imagine that.
Cape Verde. Gee, what a coinky dink.
Can't make this shit up.
No, you cannot.
You just can't. Right in front of your face. It's a slap in the face is what it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Man.
So what's going on with Cape Verde?
Cape Verde, bro. That's where that infected cruise ship dumped all of the passengers out.
Are you serious? Oh my word.
That's serious.
Yeah, I've been just blinded for as far as good information for a few days, but wow.
There you have it.
Well, I mean,
I know laughing is almost sacrilegious, but you gotta laugh because if you don't, you'll cry.
They are telling you, they're sticking it in your face. This is what we're doing, and you can't do nothing about it. Ha ha ha. That's what this comes across as. What are the odds?
Yep.
The 2 people come to Atlanta, right? They chart in their charts. What do they have? Unknown. But hey, guess what? How long is the incubation period?
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. Well, gosh. Reportedly, right? So they're going to be here. They're going to be here for these matches, okay, from June 15th to July 15th, which skips over July 4th celebration. Okay. And ironically, it's Spain playing Cape Verde. Come on. Seriously?
Oh, España.
And then we have Chechnya comes in with South Africa. Sunday.
Again, these are all patients.
Exactly.
Patients and the countries that they died in.
And then we have Spain versus Saudi Arabia. Spain's still here. Okay. Then it's Morocco versus Haiti. Let's see how that works out. And then, last but not least, the Congo versus Uzbekistan. I'm done.
Well, the French still have their hooks in down there, I'm sure, but they got to get that. I just want to say that when you played that Macron clip early on in the show, didn't he sound like Inspector Clouseau?
Frenchy?
No, he sounded like, Monsieur, does your dog, is that your dog? Does your dog bite? His ass ripped up, and he said, I thought you said your dog didn't bite. That's not my dog, Monsieur.
Underestimate that this is a unique moment where a U.S. president...
Listen to the... He's a queer.
A unique moment where a U.S. president, a Russian president, a Chinese president are dead against the Europeans.
They're dead against us. Where's my boyfriend? Is he here yet? Where's my husband? Has he arrived?
He sounds like the guy from the first Beverly Hills Cop. You know, says, would you like an espresso with a lemon twist? Remember that guy?
He also sounds like he's trying to be a Bond villain.
Oh, you need to hear 99, bring me my phone.
Oh, boy. It's wild here. All right, guys, we're coming up on 3 hours here. Anything else pressing?
Any questions?
Oh, yeah, and actually, I got to update my buddy. I don't know if he's listening now, but he just got back to me. I said the question earlier was, you still believe that ivermectin is not as good and fenbendazole is? This is correct. Processing to get pure ivermectin is toxic, plus it's a pesticide. Is the other... I'm with Dr. Michael Yeadon and Dr. Thomas Cowan on ivermectin is the other depopulation route, and it's literally pushed everywhere. He says he can't even make an ivermectin post on X without basically a bot responding where to buy it. It's like, what? So I don't know. Again, keep your hands clean, keep your head out of rat saliva and crap, and you should be good. But unless, you know,
like
you
a rat spot behind, and you'll be fine.
Oh, damn. Oh, I guess I'm screwed.
Don't let any gerbils up there, you know?
Oh, shit. And again, I guess I'm out. No. Richard Gere, he's not going to be having a good week.
They'll call that the Gere syndrome.
The Richard Gere end. So let me thank a couple folks here on the pilled side of things, and then we'll let you guys all let all the folks know when your next shows are and all that good stuff and what we're going to be doing here for the next week or so. Let me just get over here really quick. Oh, that's nice. Popped it right up there. Ding, ding, ding. Matrix Codebreaker, my Sunday co-host, dropped the can. Says, boom time, let's go. Appreciate that, brother. And then Bois Blanc dropped a cookie over there. Thank you for that, Terry. And then Just Jay, just the letter J, dropped the cookie. Appreciate that, Jay. Off the Leash with a cookie. There's no message on any of these so far. I will definitely read them if there are, but thank you for that. Off the Leash. Sean Joe, Space Squad member, one can, followed by a cookie from Sean Joe, and then another can from Sean Joe. And then we have Off the Leash dropping a cookie. Appreciate that. And then One Thunder with the can. And the last one is not least, One Thunder dropped some shades on me. Always dropping and ending in 17. I see what they did there, and I like it. So I'm dropping the scratchings. They have been released here. Let's see. I know Jeff and Armando do shows, and Ghost and Mike appear as guests. So, Jeff, we'll let you go first, buddy. And As I stated earlier, I do have your links in the Rumble. I will make sure they are in the Pilled and the YouTube links in the next 3 minutes or so. But let the folks know, when you're going to be going live or how often or when the next show is.
Epic. Thank you. I appreciate the invite. I am Thoughtcast Jeff on Rumble. You can find me as Thoughtcast. Everywhere else, my handle is at Thoughtcast Jeff. And I have a live show Monday through Friday on Rumble exclusively. And then I do all of my shorts and clips kind of to everywhere else. But I run the 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And I just have a day show going through current events, culture, conspiracies. I do a couple of gaming streams a week. And then on Sunday night, I just go through whatever's gone on in the news through the weekend. And Friday night, I do a little gaming with some of the community members. I'll probably link up with Spaceshot one of these days and see what he can do.
I'm a big gamer ever since I was a youngster, so I never grew out of that. Be 50 in November, and I still enjoy, because I can't kill people in real life, so I could never do that personally. But I can kill 30, 40 bots a game and have no sweat off of my conscience. So, but yeah, definitely link up and do that. I got we got some, I don't even know, some race car game, something too. It's like you crash the cars around, and then we got Arc Raiders and GTA. Waiting for the biggest GTA, of course, but always a blast, and I appreciate you jumping on, brother. And Mr. Armando, sir, we also have your links down there as below. Truth Table News World. I'm just putting them, or I'm making sure they're both into YouTube now. They are both in YouTube, and they're both on Rumble, and I'm working on Pilled as we speak. But Armando, sir, when's your next show? What's going on with you, brother?
Next show is coming up on this Thursday, actually, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper with some more great detail with this whole Hantha thing and what's going on, and some prognosis on that. But usually Thursdays is my go time on Truth Table News World here on Rumble. I also do Feve Project. That's another segment which deals with consciousness, and it deals with stuff outside in the universe. I do that also as well, like every other week. But I don't game as much as I used to, but I kill a communist just for fun, man, and but for a green card, I carve him up real nice, so
I'm a political refugee. My name is Tony Montana, and I'm a political refugee.
I do my little Tony Montana bit. But anyway, yeah, so Truth Table News World, guys. Yeah, so Thursday, hop in, man. It's going to be a deep one.
What time is that going to be, sir? Did you say 7?
It will be 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific.
And actually, you already set that live, so what I'm going to do is jump it into the chat right now for all the folks. And thank you, G-Fonts. Dropped $1. Rumble Rant says, a human's DNA was collected as simply as with a Q-tip collected saliva at least as far back as 1990 without any medical just cotton, Q-tip, saliva, and a Ziploc for anti-contamination. Ugh. I wonder what some of these folks be doing out there, that's for sure. But I'm dropping Armando's show. It has Boogeyman in the link right there. It's dropping into YouTube and to Rumble right now, and I am now putting it, and I just updated that. There we go. Wait, hold on. I'm going to have to fix this one. I basically just messed up all the links on Pilled in there. So give me 1 second here, guys. Ding. And I'm putting Armando's show for Thursday in the box right there as well on Pilled. And somebody just dropped something in there at the bottom. Let me see, just 1 second. I don't know what happened to that. Anyways, but we of course got to give Mr. Mike and Mr. Ghost their bidding farewell. So let's go with Mr. Mike. Ghost, you need to relax your windpipes for a minute there. But Mike, sir, what's going on with you? And any parting words for the folks out there, sir?
Yeah, just taking care of lovely wife, working hybrid remotely, and mainly taking care of a lovely wife here till she gets back on her feet. She has 5 more weeks to go until we'll go back in. She'll get cleared through the doctor. And then we're going to start our planning phase to go see the specialist in Texas. So we're gonna try to fundraise some money for some travel to over to Texas, and and those doctors out there, they're amazing. They're a grace from God, so it's a miracle. Um, and uh, and on Thursday, quite a bit of information to share with on Armando's show. So it's going to be very detailed. I have a good size project report to go over. So it'll be very methodical, very detailed, analytical, and won't be so analytical boring. It'll be very analytical, make your brain start thinking, and that's about it.
Awesome. I appreciate it, brother. And to all of you guys that have already donated, Mike has already ad nauseum, thanked you guys. And I will also thank you again because I can tell, how much he loves Renee and how much love they have for each other. And so thank you guys all, for the people that have donated. And if you don't have it in you to donate, we will certainly take you up on the prayers. Prayers will absolutely suffice as well. If you don't have anything to donate, prayers in numbers absolutely works for sure. But with that in mind, Mr. Ghost, sir, you got the last word tonight. What's going down?
Well, I would just second everything regarding Renee. I think that, that's a real life, real world problem. And for people that have done a lot for this country, Mike and Renee are the soul of this country. And again, thank you from the deepest recesses of my soul for everything everyone has done with that. And if you can do anything, please do. I don't care if it's $1. And with what we're facing now in this world, we're at the very beginning again. We knew this was coming. I say we keep doing these as long as you can do them, so we can poke fun at this, but also at the same time reveal a few things and get people thinking about a few things. So they are better prepared for them and their families and their neighbors, their community, everything. It all works. This kind of thing is what's been open, honest communications have what's been attacked so ridiculously. J6 was an example of an everyday physical, visible attack on just freedom of speech and expression. Just as an example, I don't think for all you guys who broadcast in this space, I don't think it's easy for most of you. Oh, you've got the ones who've got the marketing down and they've also got the shtick down, but they've also got their handlers too. Don't forget that. And somebody like you, God, it's been, I don't know how many years, it's practically been since you've been on the air. I've known of you and have listened, and then we knew each other a long time ago. And, and then what Armando and Jeff do, and then what Mike and I are able to come on and help with. It's just basically, in 3 words, to help you understand the world around you, what's really going on, what levels that never show their face. And the future will bring more of that aspect into it, because that aspect is being unmasked as we speak. And for those who can't see that, be happy in your TDS. For those who can, God bless you. You're where you're supposed to be, and keep going. This is not, and it never was. And for those that presented it, and maybe mistakenly, maybe hopefully in their part, whether they were from deep in intel or in the everyday world, that tried to present these things as something that was going to, yes, the enormity of these changes and these transitions, rather, that are going to keep this, let's say, this timeline together where it should be as opposed to where it would go. This is the reason why all of us do what we do, and we give of our time to do it. And Mike and I ask for nothing in return. You guys should get something in return for what you do. You're putting the equipment, the time, the research, the daily motions that you do into it. So God bless you, the three of you, for doing that. And thank you for letting people like us come on and just rant, rave, joke, talk, vent even. Because sometimes, yeah, I may say the untawdry word from time to time, but it's a way of getting it out, but a way of also expressing it to say, this is serious. This is our country. This is our world. This is what's going on. And we just give a damn and want to leave something. It's in law, they call that concept usufruct. Leaving something better than you found it, whether it's a piece of property, whether it's a business relationship. It applies to anything that you can say, I left it better than I found it, whether it was 1 millimeter or 1,000 meters or 1,000 kilometers or more. You can say you were on the positive side. And that's the only place I think I can speak for all of us on this show where we try to land every day in our lives, from personal from micro to macro. Simple as that. So thanks, and God bless everyone.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate all of you guys coming on, and like I said, going forward, we shouldn't have any more wrinkles in showtimes or canceled shows, because I don't even know when I think it's 2 weeks from Sunday or Saturday, so that I'm moving back, but I don't think we'll have any more interruptions in this show, or pretty much shouldn't be any show. So full steam ahead going forward, guys. And so I do appreciate you guys again for coming on, taking your time here on this Tuesday. And for the mods out there, we do appreciate your help greatly as well, helping myself and many others out there. Very selfless help. So thank you guys and gals out there for that. So as I say at the end of every show, and I absolutely do mean, I do appreciate, and actually I'm going to say it for these guys as well, because I know they feel the same way. And we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right. It's brackets and jackets. Bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh, boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.